And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. Shout out to the LA City Council and the now former president, Nuri Martinez. It's funny how she, quote unquote, resigned, but didn't resign. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, John Fetterman. I mean, sir, this is crazy. Democratic Party, this is crazy. Why are you letting this guy go out there and run, knowing he has diminished cognitive function? We'll talk about that a little bit more as well. Also, Tulsi Gabbard has left the Democratic Party. Not really surprising right there. Here's the question. Where is she going to go? Is she going to come to the right and be a Republican? Is she going to be independent? Is she going to change some of her left-wing views? Like, I don't know, being part of the World Economic Forum, being part of the Council on Foreign Relations, being a gun grabber, being pro-abortion, being anti-gun. Again, I'm going to say it one more time because it matters. We'll talk about that a little bit more as well. Also, a stunning admission from a Pfizer executive over in Europe. You got to hear that. We'll cover that in a moment. Also, Alex Jones to pay nearly $1 billion. I said $1 billion in damages in the defamation case. Talk about that a little bit more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. Thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. So if you enjoy what you are hearing thus far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Also, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. We got a whole lot going on tonight. Alex Jones, I'm going to get into that. I mean, $1 billion in damages with a B. So I got to come here and just, I do my intro right, but I want you to see me so you can just read my lips, so you can see my hand gestures. $1 billion in damages. Now, you can kill somebody with intent and pay like $2,000 or $3,000 in court costs. But defamation, $1 billion, we know what it's about. It's about trying to silence him and silence anyone that may want to follow in his footsteps. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So again, thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internets. Again, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. We got super chats to get to a little bit later. And also we have our sponsors. Shout out to my websites. The first one, the most obvious one, the best one, AnthonyBLogan.com. That is ANTHONY by the letter BLOGAN.com. I get questions all the time like, hey, where do I find your social media? Where do I find your Twitter, your Facebook, etc.? Everything will be right there on the actual website. I need to update that as a matter of fact. I do have a TikTok now because, I got to have it, at least to have it just to reserve it. So I'm on there. I'm on a China platform. I'm also on, where am I? I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Those are all going to be on the website. Also, you can find my email address and my snail mail address on the website. And if you don't know my snail mail address and you want to hear it right now, rather than going to the website, AnthonyBLogan.com, it is contact@AnthonyBLogan.com. I get a ton of email from you guys. I do my best to read all of it. I usually don't respond, but it doesn't mean I didn't read it. I'll read you guys' email. You send me some great tips, some great advice, some great pointers, some great news leads. So thank y'all for sending me some great emails. If you spam me with nonsense, like I get some emails that make no sense at all, like 0 cents, I'm going to go ahead and just I'm going to go ahead and block that particular email. But if you're sending me good email, thank y'all for that. I appreciate you. But anyway, go to that website, AnthonyBLogan.com. You can find an article for each video that I produce on the main page of the website. And also go to ABLmerch.com. That is ABLmerch.com. You can check that website out through the link in the description box. And as a matter of fact, all my links I'm talking about right now will be in the description box below this video. Also, go to BHEDesigns.com. That is BHEDesigns.com for the beautiful handmade flags that are right behind me. You can also go to patriotpost.us for the best source of news and information anywhere on Al Gore's internet. Again, patriotpost.us. All the links shall be in the description box below. And of course, listening to a podcast right now being recorded live in front of a studio audience, virtual, but it's the same thing. It don't make a difference. And this will be available audio only at 8 a.m. Eastern time the next day. So for example, right now it's 8 p.m. Eastern. We're recording it on a Wednesday. This will be available audio only on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, Apple, iTunes. It'll be available 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, Thursday, Eastern time. So check it on out. It's 100% free. Go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. There should also be a link in the description to the Anchor page, and that is like a bridge to all the other platforms. So check it on out if you want to hear this podcast on your commute to work and your what they call them, ear pods, your headphones, whatever you got going on, your Beats by Dre pods, whatever you got, that'll be available free of charge, of course, just like the regular podcast is on YouTube. And I think that'll do it for the sponsors and everything else. So where do I begin? Where do I begin? There's so much happening. Oh my goodness. And there were some things I missed in the LA City Council story, but I'll get to that in a moment. I think I'm going to start with Tulsi Gabbard. There's a lot of heavy topics, a lot of, deep topics that I can get into that I have listed here. Tulsi Gabbard first. Let me find a clip. I got to just have the interactivity, right? I got to have the interactivity here. Tulsi Gabbard has left the Democratic Party. Now, a lot of you guys throughout the years have told me you like Tulsi Gabbard, you wish she would run for president, you would vote for her, or you wish that she would come over to the right and be a conservative and leave the Democratic Party and all this and that. And I understand where you're coming from. I feel where you're coming from, but there's just one problem. Tulsi Gabbard is not conservative. Tulsi Gabbard is like a moderate Democrat at best. A moderate Democrat at best. But the thing about it is the left have gone so far over to the left. There's a meme. I might try to find a meme. But you guys know what I'm talking about as far as the meme I'm about to describe. When I describe it, you'll totally get it. So there's a meme where you have a person on the left, a person on the right, and a person like right in the middle, a centrist. And then over time, the left gets further and further and further away from the center. The right stays right where it's supposed to be, you see? So you have, this is how it is originally, and then you have somebody in the dead center, but as the left keeps going further and further and further away from the center, the right stays the same, and the center point gets moved because the center is going to be constant. It's not going to be like, okay, the center's right here, and then left is way over here. The center's going to always move with how either side moves. If the right goes far right, left goes far left, you're still going to have an absolute center. So the right stays consistent, and then the left goes all the way far, far, far to the left. So if you happen to be a centrist at one point in time, you didn't move, but the center moved. So now by default, you're on the right. That's Tulsi Gabbard. That's Bill Maher. That's a lot of these guys. Even the Dave Rubin or somebody like that, they're leftists because remember, Rubin was on Young Turks at first. Don't forget that. Okay. He's the same as your man Bill Maher, Tulsi Gabbard. They're all leftists, but they're just not crazy, ridiculous leftists saying that you can have drag queen story time, that a man can give birth to a baby, stuff like that. Right. They're not far to the left as in having drag queens perform in front of children in church. That had to be the craziest thing I ever seen in my life. You have a whole big drag queen, and they called this dude, they called the drag queen Miss Pentecost. I'm not making it up. A drag queen was in church in front of children performing, and they called the drag queen Miss Pentecost. Stuff like that, the average normie does not tolerate. But again, as you keep going far and far and far to the left, the center is going to move with it. So by default, you're going to be on the right if you say that's not a good thing to do. That's Tulsi Gabbard. Now let me find let me find the particular clip. Yeah, somebody says Bill Maher on the right, laughing emoji. Exactly what I'm saying. Some would say that Bill Maher's conservative because of his viewpoints, but he's not at all. He's just more of a normie than not. Because nowadays, if you say that, like a prime example, I saw Candace Owens. I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but I'm going to get right back to Tulsi Gabbard. I saw Candace Owens having a debate with Mark Lamont Hill, right? He's a professor at Temple in Philadelphia. And she was asking him a very simple question. Can men get pregnant? Can men have babies? Matter of fact, I got to do one of my old videos here to show you guys this segment. So let's hold on. Let's pull it up right here. So here we go. Here's Candace and Mark Lamont Hill on her show. This was probably about a couple of years ago, back in 2019, 2020 or so. Let's check it out.
Can men give birth?
Sometimes. That's my answer. Yes.
And the answer that is crazy. And this is we cannot. It's just crazy. We cannot allow this.
Why is he laughing? Like, what's funny about that? What if she asked a very simple question? Can men give birth? She's like, yeah, sometimes. And her response is as crazy. What's funny about her response? Her response is correct. You, sir, are incorrect. This is what I'm talking about right here. I'll let it play a little bit longer, and then I'll get back on to Tulsi Gabbard.
This to happen.
But you wouldn't say the definition of being a woman is the ability to give birth.
And I'm not saying it, but only women can give birth is a factually true statement. Only women can give birth. There's only one type of human being
only
that
people
can
with
give
uteruses
birth.
and vaginas
Yes,
and
can
stuff
give
can
birth.
give birth.
Only women can give birth.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Birth.
I'm not, and that here's what I think we're talking past each other. What I'm saying is, I'm not.
I mean, why is this even a discussion? Why is it a debate? Why is it a debate? When you were a little boy, a little girl in grade school, this was basic stuff that was taught to you. Okay, men cannot have babies. Women can have babies. If you have siblings, let's say you were the oldest or the middle or something like that. You saw your mom pregnant. You never saw your dad pregnant. Okay, and then if you ask, "Mommy, your stomach got big. What's going on?" "Well, son, you having a little brother." Or, "Well, daughter, you having a little brother or a sister." That's basic stuff. Basic biology 101. This is not. I'm not discovering the dark matter in space. I'm not uncovering some type of fantastic discovery. I'm not some kind of big brain super genius right here. I'm talking about basic stuff.
Disputing the fact that certain body parts yield certain kinds of possibilities, right? What I'm disagreeing with is the idea that that is the measure of whether or not you're a man or a woman.
See, he's trying to play games, because just because you are female does not mean you can have. You can have kids automatically, because you may have some kind of disorder, or you may be too old, or you might have hysterectomy. You see what I'm saying? So he's trying to argue a point that she's not making. The point she's making is you can only give birth if you're a woman. Only if you're a woman. Okay? Now, there's certain other things you got to have as well, aside from being a woman. Like, you got to be of birthing age. You can't be 80 years old giving birth to a baby. Okay? You got to be fertile. You got to have, your uterus and everything got to be on point. You can't have any damages, any kind of, okay, but you still got to be a woman. You can't just be a man born with the ability to have kids. It just doesn't work. It's impossible. It's a 0% chance of you being born as a male and giving birth. Where is it going to come out? Don't answer that. Don't answer it, because I saw that whole thing on Amazon that can simulate that. So please don't answer that. We got little babies watching, but I don't want to play that no more. That's an older clip. The point I was making is that is the left nowadays. That's the left. And if you say that's nonsense, if you say that's ridiculous, then it means you're a right-wing conspiracy theorist. That means you're a bigot, a hateful, transphobe, and things of that nature. Okay. Now, and here's one more thing about the left. This is actually from Joe Rogan's podcast featuring Tulsi Gabbard. All right. But it's not really about her. It's about something else. Now, Joe Rogan says a friend of his, matter of fact, this ain't even the right one. But there was a different clip where Joe Rogan was talking about how a friend of his had to, at their school, they had to get a kitty litter box installed in the bathroom because one of the kids identified as a cat. a kitty litter box. Like, I mean, and that's so dumb. It's like, okay, you have kitty litter boxes because cats cannot just go to the bathroom, lift the seat up, and then use the restroom like a normal human being. Okay, a cat is a cat. It's not really supposed to be in the house anyway. It's just gonna, if not for the kitty litter box, it would just go on the ground. So you got to train the cat to use that. You cannot train the cat to just go in the toilet. So let's get back to Tulsi Gabbard. let's get to her and discover that whole thing. And I found a video of Miss Pentecost. I'll play that after I play the whole thing with her. But the bottom line is, you don't want people that have leftist point of views to kind of rock you to sleep thinking that they are on your side. They're not necessarily on your side. So here we go. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that's under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers who are driven by cowardly wokeness, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti-white racism, who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution, who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality, who demonize the police but protect criminals at the expense of law-abiding Americans, who believe in open borders, who weaponize the national security state to go after their political opponents, and above all, who are dragging us ever closer to nuclear war. Now, I believe in a government that's of the people, by the people, and for the people. Unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not. Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite. Now, I'm calling on my fellow common sense, independent-minded Democrats to join me in leaving the Democratic Party. If you can no longer stomach the direction that the so-called woke Democratic Party ideologues are taking our country, then I invite you to join me.
All right, so there you have it. I mean, what she said there sounded pretty good. It sounded pretty good, but you got to get into her entire voting record. You got to get into it. It can't just be, well, she sounds good right there, so I'll vote for her. I would have her on my side. I don't think it's probably not appropriate at all. It's not appropriate because here's my thing. She's leaving the Democratic Party, but where is she going? She did not say, oh, I'm becoming a conservative. I'm going to the right. I'll be a Republican. She didn't say that. What I smell, what I think is afoot, is that she'll become an independent, and she may try and do the whole Ross Perot thing. Like, a lot of you guys are kind of young. You don't know who Ross Perot is. I'll give you a little story, ABL story time, a little brief history. And if you guys in the comments can please correct me if I'm wrong, y'all do that. So back in 1992, this is after George H.W.'s first term in office. He was a vice president under Reagan. Now, Reagan, of course, was a great president, did a very good job. H.W. was the vice president. He did not do a great job. And we know now how the Bushes and the Clintons and the Obamas, we know who they are now, right? But back then, maybe we didn't know. Anyway, he doesn't really do a good job. Read my lips, no new taxes. That was a lie. So people were kind of dissatisfied with his performance. Now, here comes Ross Perot. He had a boatload of money, buku dinero, as the cool kids say, right? A lot of money. He comes in with a lot of the same points that the right wants, that the right will want to hear. And he runs as an independent. He does not win any of the electoral votes, but he wins 18.9 to 19% of the popular vote. That was enough, in my humble opinion, to make HW lose some of the electoral votes, and that gives us Slick Willie, 1992. That was his first term in office, okay? So what Tulsi Gabbard could do is run as an independent. She needs a lot of money, though. And if she gets a bunch of funding, I'll put it to you this way. Here's a clue. Here's a clue. Free clue for you guys. If Tulsi Gabbard runs as an independent for 2024 for president of the USA, and she gets a bunch of funding from California, New York, Illinois, you know that that's the left trying to Ross Perot Donald Trump or whoever the Republican candidate is. Here's what could happen. Trump has a lot of support. He's very popular, probably the most popular guy, but it's a double-edged sword. He's also the most unpopular guy. He's the most popular and unpopular. So if she runs, she's able to fill some of the void that he leaves as likable or center of the road, not as brash, kind of a leftist still. Things that some may want from Trump that they're not going to get from Trump. So she could run and take votes from him exclusively. She would not take votes from the left because left don't like her too much. They've already pretty much thrown her under the bus, say, man, get off the train, get off the boat. We don't want you here. So she may try to Ross Perot Trump, if Trump wins the nomination at least, to dilute his vote, therefore putting in a Gavin Newsom. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm off base about that, but we'll see come 2023. 2023 is going to be really after the midterms. After the midterms, we're going to see who's going to run. It's going to be a packed field. It's going to be packed. Now, that's going to depend on your man, Joe Biden. If Joe Biden runs, it's going to be complicated. I don't think he'll run. I think his handlers will pretty much say, hey, man, don't do it. They may force him to not run because obviously this man about to be 80 years old in a few days. Yes, he is. He has birthday in November. Matter of fact, let me see when his birthday is. His birthday is November 20th, 1942. He will be 80 years old this year. 1942. He's been in office in the government, not as a president or vice president. I'm talking about in government going back to 1973. Were you even alive back then? Put it to you this way. You still got gray hair in my beard, right? I'm not that old, but I'm not young either. I'll be 40 years old in 2 years. Now, my parents were kids when Joe Biden first got in office. My parents were kids. And you see what's going on here, right? I'll be 40 before his term is over in office, but my parents were like middle school or elementary school age when he first got into office. 1973 is crazy. So yeah, he is not going to be able to run. If he wants to run, they're not going to let him. They're going to try to have Gavin Newsom take over and run instead. Right. So we'll see. We'll definitely see what's going on. I can't wait. I cannot wait for 2024. 2024 is going to be crazy. If you thought the midterms are crazy, the 2024 is going to be just off the scale. Okay. And I'm going to get to a few more things here. Thank you for joining me. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. So if you enjoyed what you were hearing thus far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, not scare the video, do all that good stuff. And speaking of scare, here's a video I was talking about as far as Miss Pentecost. Now, check it out. And shout out to Ian Miles Chung. But here is an example of how far the left have gone. This is not isolated. This is not just, San Francisco, Los Angeles. This is pretty much everywhere. I've seen this kind of scene in Iowa. I've seen it here in Tennessee. I've seen it in Texas, Florida. I've seen it everywhere. In little pockets, but it's everywhere. Now, this appears to be a church. I'm not sure what's going on here. Y'all please help me out. I'm seeing a guy who has on a robe. It appears like he's some kind of I won't say a priest. I don't know if I see a collar or not, but some kind of clergyman. I see two little kids right there. Okay, these kids got to be probably about 6, 7, 8 years old, and I see this big Tony Gonzalez, Gronkowski looking drag queen talking to him named Miss Pentecost. Check it out.
Do either of you have any questions for Miss Pentecost?
I like your eyeshadow.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you like her eyeshadow. That's great. Yeah. Maybe she'll let you borrow it when you're older,
like
when you're allowed to wear makeup. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Well, one of the things.
Do you hear the irony? Tell me some. You can wear it when you get older. Well, how about they don't go to a drag show until they get older? How about that? You moron. I'm almost cussed. And I don't do that. So please forgive me.
I think is great about Miss Pentecost is she reminds us that we follow a God who calls us to not conform to things of this world. That we're supposed to be transformed by the renewal of our minds. And that means that what I think today may have to change tomorrow if I continue to renew my mind. And it's so cool that we serve a God that calls us to continue to grow and continue to change into something new, and to not be bound by the ways that the world confines us sometimes, that we're supposed to live differently. Do either of you have
I mean, I have no words. I have no words. The church in the West is pretty much dead. It's pretty much dead. It's unfortunate because, you know, a lot of you guys know that I'm not religious, but I grew up around religious people. You know, I go back home, West Virginia, everybody's religious. You know, like that's what I have always heard. I know a lot of scripture. I've read the Bible before. I've been to church, vacation, Bible school. I've done all that. Okay. I was in the choir when I was a young guy. You know, in school, I was in the choir. So, I mean, I kind of grew up in that culture, the church culture, although I'm not really a religious guy. I respect Christianity, but this right here is a parody of Christianity. It's like it's not even real, but this is real. This is 100% real. This is not a joke. And a lot of you guys may not know where that name comes from. Pentecost, like Pentecostal. That's like what you would say, a sect of Christianity. You got Episcopalian, Pentecostal. You have what's it? Is that Lutheran, Catholic, Baptist, all of that. So yeah, I have no words, but that's real. And that comes from Ian Miles Young reposting it, but it comes from Woke Preacher Clips. There's like, you know, you have what you have? You have Libs of TikTok and things like that. That's a great resource, by the way, Libs of TikTok. And they hate her, Libs of TikTok, because they try to ban her. It's like, how are you going to ban me for just reposting what people post themselves? I'm not stealing information. I'm going on TikTok and posting the stuff I see on Twitter. How is that something that I should get banned for? But anyway, Woke Preacher Clips is like Libs of TikTok, but they focus on church stuff. And it's crazy. It's totally crazy. You'd be shocked. But I'll move right along. We got quite a few things on deck. I got quite a few videos for you guys. I don't even know where to start. Before I get to the next topic, we got one more video of your man Joe Biden just continuing to decline. I mean, I think at this point we all know that he's not there. He's not there. But yet they still put him out there. Like somebody else we know. We'll talk about that person in just a moment.
We passed look, what I ran on, I said we're going to deal with energy.
Right.
And the energy problem, we're going to deal with the whole notion of global warming. We passed $368 billion worth of help, which, as the same bankers talk about, is going to bring $1.7 billion off the sidelines in investment.
How many is that again? Let's say it one more time.
Help, which, as the same bankers talk about, is going to bring $1.7 billion off the sidelines in investment.
Nonsense, complete nonsense. And speaking of nonsense, your man, John Fetterman. Now, warning, disclaimer, I'm not trying to attack John Fetterman for having a stroke. I wish he gets well. I wish he would just take time off or just not run and focus on his health, focus on his ability to be able to comprehend when people are speaking to him, because he's not there. He doesn't really have that comprehension. And it's so bad, MSNBC couldn't even hide it for him. Because, you know, MSNBC, any mainstream media organization, they want to they want to protect their people, right? They want to protect their people. They don't want anything like that to get out there. They want you to think there's nothing's wrong, everything's all good, blah 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 blah. So for them to come out there and say what they said about John Fetterman was really crazy. It was totally crazy. Now, let me go ahead and find the clip for you guys. I got the one clip where they are talking to him. Well, they're talking about him, but then I have another clip where they're actually talking to him in the interview. Y'all give me 1 second. I'm going to definitely get to it. And hold on. Actually, I got quite a few clips. I got so many clips over here. It's crazy. I mean, Twitter is where you want to be for these kind of short clips that the mainstream media won't put out. it's weird because Twitter does a lot of censorship, but at the same time, they don't. They let quite a few things go that a lot of other social media networks don't let go. So I think they're probably one of the best ones as far as a lack of censorship. Okay. Matter of fact, I found it. So I'm going to play the first video first where they're talking about Fetterman and what it had to do to accommodate his brain disorder, I suppose that is, because he had a stroke and he's not able to process speech. So what happens is this. You're talking to him, and as you're speaking, he can't really process your speech and comprehend it. You know, he's not really hearing everything. Certain words are kind of jumbled up. So by the time you say something, he hears it and his brain is processing it. It's just not going to make a lot of sense. So he's not able to understand what you're saying. He may respond incorrectly to something. And you'll see an example of that even with the assistants. So what they did was they had the interviewer there, and as she's speaking, her words are being transcribed into real time in the captions. So he has a screen right here where he's able to read what she's saying in real time. So he can read that and comprehend that better. But he still can't really read that well because he's still not answering the questions appropriately. But it's better than him trying to listen to you and talk that way. And here's a question I have for you guys. If he cannot even read questions appropriately in real time and answer them, how is he going to have a debate with Dr. Oz? Because in that format, are you going to have some kind of transcriber right there? Are you going to have that ability to have a screen and have everything set up properly like that? And it's going to be hard-hitting questions. It's going to be a lot of over-talking and loud stuff going on. How can you even perform in a debate at all, let alone be a senator from Pennsylvania? I don't understand. But here's the first part, where they threw him under the bus.
We had a monitor set up so that he could read my questions because he still has lingering auditory processing issues as a result of the stroke, which means he has a hard time understanding what he's hearing. Now, once he reads the question, he's able to understand. You'll hear he also still has some problems, some challenges with speech. And I'll say, Katie, that just in some of the small talk prior to the interview, before the closed captioning was up and running, it did seem that he had a hard time understanding our conversations. We had
so she said everything right there. She's like, "Look, okay." During the speech, during the interview, pardon me, there was a screen right there. You see it? You see the screen right there? The screen was set up so you have the interviewer right there on the left talking, and then the screen that's right here. It's like an iMac computer. So all of what she's saying is being transcribed right here. So he keeps looking over to his right to read the question, although she's right there asking him the question. He can't really process what she's saying. He has to read the screen. That's a terrible, terrible sign. Now, here's the next part. Here's part of the actual interview, and you'll see it in action. Let's check it out.
In terms of any symptoms related to the stroke or any other conditions, you hadn't disclosed the AFib you were diagnosed with 5 years ago. Is there anything else that is in your health record, any other conditions or symptoms that you have not told voters about?
As far as I know, yeah.
As far as you know, there's nothing else.
So it didn't make any sense. Like, let's replay the question. Matter of fact, let's go straight from the beginning, and I'm gonna stop it at a certain point because he had other issues that he didn't disclose aside from the stroke that he just had.
In terms of any symptoms related to the stroke or any other conditions, you hadn't disclosed the AFib you were diagnosed with.
So he had an AFib. That's a heart problem. Atrial fibrillation. So that's an irregular heartbeat, and you could actually have a blood clot. That right there can make you get a heart attack. You could die from that. So you got a heart problem that you didn't disclose, and you had a stroke this year. So, I mean, you're not really in good health. And you can hear him answer the question, and it doesn't make any sense. Let's go ahead and replay that one more time.
5 years ago, is there anything else that is in your health record, any other conditions or symptoms that you have not told voters about?
As far as I know, yeah.
So she asked him, are there any other health issues you have, any other symptoms you have that you have not disclosed to the voters? He says, like, yeah, as far as I know, yeah. Does it make any sense? Okay, so you do have symptoms. You do have something that you want to talk about. What other thing do you have that you have not disclosed to the general public? The way he answered the question is not appropriate to the question. And it was clearly the wrong answer. So it didn't make any sense. He thought there was a different question that was asked.
As far as you know, there's nothing else?
Yeah, I don't think so.
All right.
You see what I'm saying? He's not there. He's not there. And this is with her being right there in front of him and with a screen that is actually transcribing her speech so he can read it. He can't understand the speech or her. So how are you going to understand what's going on with the Senate? How are you going to understand things you're voting on? How are you going to understand what your constituents are asking you for? When you go into certain town hall meetings and you're being asked questions or you're doing press conferences, how can you even do it? Aside from his track record, aside from the voting, aside from his time as mayor of Braddock, Pennsylvania, right outside of Pittsburgh, aside from the whole shotgun kerfuffle, aside from the whole club sign kerfuffle, aside from the whole thing about letting murderers out of prison, aside from the whole defunding police or whatever you got going on, aside from that, you can't even communicate. And that's a bad thing. If you're a politician, your number one thing you got to do is communicate. People like normies. They like to feel good. They like to hear things they want to hear. If you cannot communicate as a politician, that's a problem. I've seen guys that are in wheelchairs, guys that are kind of, they're not necessarily physically able to move around very much, but they got to talk. I've never seen a deaf politician. But I've not actually seen them because you got to communicate. You could be in the wheelchair, you could have a leg amputated or whatever, but you got to be able to talk first and foremost. All right. You got to have that. If you don't have that, you have nothing. And if you can't understand somebody, you can't do it. So again, I'm not trying to make fun of Fetterwoman for his stroke. Now, for saying Fetterwoman, I make fun of that. Fetterwoman, I make fun of that whole thing, but not his stroke. All I'm saying is that he's not suited. He's not prepared for this job. He's not prepared to do anything where you got to communicate with people. That's just a fact. It is what it is. I mean, it really ain't nothing else to it. So we'll see how that goes. And the crazy part, despite all that, he's still in the lead. It's Pennsylvania. It's a blue state, if I'm not mistaken. I think at one point when I was a young man, it was a red state, but now it's kind of flipped into a blue state. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Y'all let me know in the comments. Anybody in Pennsylvania, y'all let me know. Shout out Lancaster, Pittsburgh, Philly, Amish country, wherever you are, y'all let me know if Pennsylvania is a blue state or a red state. But like I said, he's still in the lead as far as the polls are concerned. I think by about 4 or 5 percentage points beyond Dr. Oz. Now, Dr. Oz is not a great candidate. Don't get me, don't get it confused. He's not a fantastic candidate, but at least he can speak. At least he has the ability to communicate. Fetterman doesn't have it. And Fetterman had problems before this, aside from the stroke thing, the whole thing. He was in Pennsylvania. There were some issues. Do I have anything about his time in Pennsylvania? Let me see if I can find it. And I'll get to the last topic in just a moment. But there's quite a few things I got to pull up about the whole situation we got going on here. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. Alrighty. Oh, here we go. Here's the clip from, I got 2 clips of Fetterman. The first one is Fetterwoman, just so you can hear that for your own amusement. And then a 2013 news interview from when he was mayor of Braddock, Pennsylvania, and the whole shotgun kerfuffle, right? So let's go ahead and play the Fetterwoman and then the news clip, and then we'll move forward with the next topic.
My name is John Fetterwoman.
So yeah, Fetterwoman. There we go. So yeah, that's his name now. You said it right there on tape. My name is John Fetterwoman. There you have it. All right, Fetterwoman. Now, here is the whole thing about the shotgun kerfuffle. All right, let's go ahead and check it out. The caption says, 2013 John Fetterman pointed a shotgun at a random black man jogging. Fetterman is a Democratic nominee for the 2022 United States Senate election in Pennsylvania.
And I heard approximately a dozen or more what clearly sounded like assault rifle gunshots go off.
Mayor John Fetterman says he rushed his son inside, called 911, and took off in his truck after a masked man in black he saw running. But Chris Mayeras, the man Fetterman confronted, turns out to be an innocent jogger who police say had no weapon.
There wasn't any assault rifle shots. It was bottle rockets behind the library.
Mayor Fetterman did have a weapon.
A 20 gauge shotgun under the back seat of my truck, which I pulled out and I showed to just say, look, we're going to wait here and we're going to get this all sorted out when the police arrive.
Mayeras and the mayor tell very different stories. He says Fetterman
followed me into North Braddock and pulled a shotgun and aimed it at my chest.
Did you point the shotgun at him?
No, I did not. I pointed it, away so that he would see that I was armed, but I did not point it at him. In fact, I didn't even have a round chambered or remove the safety at that point.
For both men, it was frightening. North Braddock's police chief says his officers tell him the shotgun incident was over when they arrived. Mayeras says that's not true. The police tried to laugh it off.
I mean, there's a mayor with a shotgun and 6 other cops surrounded me. What else could I do but this?
I believe I did the right thing, but I may have broken the law during the course of it. And, I'm certainly not above the law if I did. But what I did in a split second.
Hold on. Let's go back.
This.
I believe I did the right thing, but I may have broken the law during the course of it. And
you broke the law? Maybe you didn't break the law. Oh no, in no big deal. Maybe I broke the law. So what?
I'm certainly not above the law if I did, but what I did in a split second out of concern as the father and the mayor.
He's trying to make it like it's okay. He's trying to justify what he did.
Well, there you have it. And then there was a debate, I suppose, where recently, and he was asked about this. Fetterman was asked about this, about the whole shotgun kerfuffle. He said he didn't do it, but yet right there he says he did do it. Tell me something. Well, I didn't point it at him. I just kind of pointed it near him. And, it wasn't even around in the chamber. I was like, sir, really? If I am cornered with a shotgun and you point it in my general direction, I mean, you brandish it on me. That's called brandishing. You can go to jail for that. If I didn't do anything, I'm just minding my business. But anyway, so yeah, that's Fetterman for you. And I move right along. I shall move forward here. Oh, somebody asked me in the comments to play this video. I got a good video for you guys if you haven't seen it. I put it on my Instagram. I also put it on my it was also on my YouTube Shorts, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go to YouTube Shorts right quick and I'll go ahead and pop that on up. All right. And this is one of these super Karens talking about Republicans, and you have a rock remix to it. Now, shout out to Andre Antunes for the original video. Let's go ahead and check it on out.
Listen to me, Republicans, listen. You are the people in history. These wars are about. These wars are about people like you. Pay attention. We're losing our democracy. Wake up.
So yeah, shout out to Andre Antunes. Shout out to the lady right here. The metal scream, she got the metal scream down. Okay. All she got to do next is the pig squeal, and then she be rocking and rolling, cooking with gas. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah. Matter of fact, I need her to do a whole big rant for about 3 minutes, make a song, put it on iTunes, and get my man Andre Antunes to do the guitar. So yeah, shout out to them. I really enjoyed that video when I saw it. I hear it's an old video, but I'd never seen it before, so it's new to me. All right. So your dog won't shut up. Sorry about your dog, boss. Yeah, sorry about your dog, boss. But we got a few more things on deck here. The Pfizer executive. Have you guys seen that? You guys got to see this. I may do a video about this tomorrow, actually. So, all right, the Pfizer executive admitted that the vax does not prevent transmission. We said that already, though. Before I get to the Pfizer executive, I got to find the video first. Then I'm going to get to some other stuff that I already had. All right. So as a matter of fact, not only does it not prevent transmission, it was not tested to prevent transmission. It was never intended to prevent transmission. It was never intended for that purpose. But before I get ahead of myself, let's play the first video that's been pinned to my Twitter profile since October of 2021, 1 year and some change. Okay. 1 year, 10 days, actually, to the day. So here's the first video. And by the way, this is on CNN. You have CDC Director Rochelle Walensky speaking to Wolf Blitzer on CNN about the vaccine.
Our vaccines are working exceptionally well. They continue to work well for Delta with regard to severe illness and death. They prevent it. But what they can't do anymore is prevent transmission. So if you're going home to somebody who has not been vaccinated, to somebody who can't get vaccinated, somebody who might be immunosuppressed or a little bit frail, somebody who has comorbidities that put them at high risk, I would suggest you wear a mask in public indoor settings. Our vaccines are working.
So they said that back in October 2021, they said it. The vaccines cannot prevent transmission. They said it back then. This is CDC Director Rochelle Walensky. This ain't just some regular person. This ain't no TV pundit. This ain't no quack or whatever somebody wants to call her. She is a CDC Director. This is 2021. This is under the Biden administration. It's not a Trump doctor or nothing like that. This is Biden's people right now. CDC Director. The vaccine cannot prevent transmission, meaning, layman's terms, getting the vaccine does not stop you from spreading it to somebody, nor can it stop you from getting it for somebody else. So if you have a vaccine and people are sick, you can still catch it. If you're sick, you can still spread it. It does not stop that. And as a matter of fact, it was never, ever tested for that before it was released into the wild. Now, here's the video, the new video for you guys. Let's put it, just go ahead. I got to just play it. I don't want to talk too much here.
If you don't get vaccinated, you're antisocial. This is what the Dutch Prime Minister and Health Minister told us. You don't get vaccinated just for yourself, but also for others. You do it for all of society. That's what I said. Today, this turned out to be complete nonsense. In a COVID hearing in the European Parliament, one of the Pfizer directors just admitted to me, at the time of introduction, the vaccine had never been tested on stopping the transmission of the virus.
One more time. Let's rewind that one more time. So you hear it, so you're not thinking you're hearing things you didn't hear. One more time, let's rewind it.
In Parliament, one of the Pfizer directors just admitted to me, at the time of introduction, the vaccine had never been tested on stopping the transmission of the virus. This removes the entire legal basis for the COVID passport. The COVID passport that led to massive institutional discrimination as people lost access to essential parts of society. I find this to be shocking, even criminal. Please watch the video until the end.
Voor u, mevrouw Small, heb ik de volgende vraag waar ik een duidelijk antwoord op wil. And I will speak in English so there are no misunderstandings. Was the Pfizer COVID vaccine tested on stopping the transmission of the virus before it entered the market? If not, please say it clearly. If yes, are you willing to share the data with this committee? And I really want a straight answer, yes or no, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Regarding the question around, did we know about stopping immunisation before it's entered the market? No. We had to really move at the speed of science to really understand what is taking place in the market.
The speed of science? What does that mean? What does that mean? Hold on, before I get triggered, let's let him finish.
This is scandalous. Millions of people worldwide felt forced to get vaccinated because of the myth that you do it for others. Now this turned out to be a cheap lie. This should be exposed. Please share this video.
So if you don't know, this was a Pfizer executive Okay, Pfizer executive. They're over in Europe. They're having a hearing, and she is being asked questions. She has to be truthful. She says it was not tested. We didn't know. We had to just put it out there because we're trying to get it out fast. Okay, so when they say, when they said things like, "Hey man, you got to get vaccinated for your grandma, man. You want to kill your grandmama? You want to kill your granddaddy?" When they said things like that, that was just complete nonsense. A lie. Because there was never tested for that. How are they going to say a thing that they had no idea about? No idea. It was a scare tactic. It was a way to get you to get the vax just because. I feel like it was a money grab, really, because I mean, it was like, what's the point in lying like that? And then the vaccine passport, that was totally useless because, again, from the beginning, they knew that they did not have any evidence to say that this thing would prevent transmission. They didn't test for it. It wasn't intended to do that. It was intended to lower the symptoms. That's it. And it's kind of questionable if that happened. Plus, there are side effects. Myocarditis, yes, there is. And as a matter of fact, I already put it on the screen before, but the Florida Solicitor General said that he does not recommend men between the ages of 18 and 39 get the vaccine because of the 87% increase in cardiovascular events. Let me see if I can find that particular article. I'm not saying anything that's not been put out in the news, that's not on government websites. You can find all this stuff. You can fact check me. You can find whatever you want on the internet for yourself. Please fact check me. Please do. I dare you to fact check me about this. I dare you. But as a lot of you guys are saying right now, we all knew this a long time ago. We knew this back in 2020. I knew from the beginning, right when they were talking about doing it, right when Trump was talking about putting the vaccine out. I'm like, okay, that's cool, Trump, but I'm not going to get that because why would I get a brand new vaccine that just came out? Because how do I know what the side effects are going to be? Have there been human trials? Like, I don't want that. It just came out. That was something that I knew from the very beginning not to do. Okay. So this is the Florida Surgeon General, Dr. Joseph A. Ladapo. Okay. And I'm going to go to the floridahealth.gov. This is a real website. I'm on it right now. You see I'm moving around my mouse. So let's read some of this right here. I won't read the entire thing, but you can find it on my Facebook. You can find it pretty much anywhere. All right, let's check this out right here. So today, State Surgeon General Dr. Joseph A. Ladapo has announced new guidance regarding mRNA vaccines. The Florida Department of Health conducted an analysis through a self-controlled case series, which is a technique originally developed to evaluate vaccine safety. This analysis found that there is an 84% increase in the relative incidence of cardiac-related health death among males 18 and 39 years old within 28 days following mRNA vaccination. One more time. Its analysis found that there is an 84% increase in the relative incidence of cardiac-related death among males 18 and 39 years old within 28 days following mRNA vaccination, with a high level of global immunity to COVID-19. We said that before. Herd immunity. We said that before. Oh, you guys are pushing conspiracy theories anyway. With a high level of global immunity to COVID-19, the benefit of vaccination is likely outweighed by this abnormally high risk of cardiac-related death among men in this age group. Non-mRNA vaccines were not found to have these increased risks. As such, Surgeon General recommends against males aged 18 and 39 from receiving mRNA COVID-19 vaccines. Those are pre-existing conditions, cardiac conditions such as myocarditis and pericarditis should take particular caution when making this decision. So, I mean, not only does it not prevent transmission, not only was it not tested for that, it also has a bunch of side effects. So why would anybody get that? Why would anybody just go out there and say, you know what, I want to get it? Because they were kind of forced into it with the vaccine passports. If you don't get the vaccine, you got to lose your job and everything else. Shout out to everybody that stood tall and were able to not take the vax. I know it's not the case for everybody. You got kids, you got a family. I get it. I understand. You don't want to be on the street. You don't want your kids to be on the street. I get it. But if you were able to resist, hey man, you made it. You made it. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to the pure bloods. And if you had to get the vaccine because you had to, because of medical, because of your job, your family, I understand. I get it. And my heart goes out to you. Hopefully everybody's okay. But I knew from day one, instantly, right when I was seeing the Chinese videos of people falling out, dying, I knew I would not get a brand new shot or a brand new thing they came out with. That's a plot of every video game, man. It Resident Evil, Division, 28 Days Later, I Am Legend. That's the plot of everything, right? It's some kind of brand new disease. They try to come up with a cure for it, and as a result, there's an apocalypse, and everybody dies, except for like one man and his dog, who's going crazy talking to mannequins throughout the whole movie. That was I Am Legend. That was the whole plot of the movie, and even toward the end, they were still doing human tests or tests on the zombies or whatever to try and fix the disorder. They were trying to fix it. All right. So yeah, shout out to y'all. I know that was pretty rough for some of you guys, but shout out to y'all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And let's talk about the LA City Council, shall we? Oh boy, LA City Council. Your little black son's a monkey, all kind of stuff. And this is crazy. Now, let's go back. So Nuri Martinez was the president of the LA City Council. Now, she has since resigned as president, but not from the city council, I don't think. No, I gotta find that, because I think there was some other motion that happened. Okay, so she resigned from the whole council. At first, she resigned just as a president, but did not resign from the council. So she was still on the council, but the media, the media headlines, and I'm not sure what the purpose of her resigning from the as a president, not the whole council was. Like, just leave the entire council. But now I think she resigned from the whole thing. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so now she resigned from the whole council. Yeah, she left her seat and everything. All right. Now, the reason why she resigned is because of some comments that were made on a tape that got released. Some racially charged comments. Now, I was seeing a bunch of hoop jumping for her. A lot of hoop jumping. Oh, well, she didn't really say monkey. She was just saying unruly child. Oh, okay. So when she was talking about Mike Bonin trying to be black and stuff like that, and he's for the blacks and F him, just ignore that part, right? When speaking about Koreatown and all the Oaxacans that are there, and they short brown people, that's also racially motivated, because the thing about Mexicans that I've learned, and if I'm wrong, let me know, but there's racism among Mexicans because people think they're all the same when they're not. Obviously, it's a country, not a race of people. People like Nuri Martinez, she's like more of a mestizo, right? Doesn't that mean like have basically Indian, Native American, and then have Spaniard? That's people like Nuri Martinez. And they think that they're white sometimes. Now, I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just saying this is just what I've been able to observe. And if I'm wrong, y'all please let me know. Y'all please correct me here. Okay, let's not hide everybody. I mean, come on, let's kind of chill. But anyway, so they think that they're better than the more native looking people. The Oaxacans like Guatemalans because it's right there on the border, like south of Mexico, right by Guatemala. And Guatemalans are real. They're like 5 foot tall. They're actually like they're Native Americans, really. They're Native Americans, or native to that particular land. They're not like the mestizos. The mestizos are much taller because they got the European blood. These Paul Gasol, 7 foot tall looking people. You understand what I'm saying? They came in and mixed with the natives. So you got taller people, lighter skinned people. The Oaxacans are more like short brown people, not black, but short and brown people. Like, you ever seen those Olmecs? They look kind of like that. The Olmec head from back in the day, Legends of the Hidden Temple. They look more like that. So they're also racist against them too. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of that going on. But these are all Democrats, right? These are all Democrats. Oh, Black Lives Matter, blackity black, 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 all this, that, and the third. But behind closed doors, he think he black. F him. And the little short brown, dirty Oaxacans. You see what I'm saying? That's how they operate. So as a result of that, she resigned. Now, let me see if I can find the original tape right quick. And y'all give me one moment to do that. I'd appreciate it if you did. All right. So let's go ahead and get rocking here. And what's funny is that Kevin De Leon, a.k.a. Kevin Alexander, is like, he looks more native like
LA City Council.
But let's go ahead and play this news clip, actually. Let's play a news clip, and then we can kind of move forward, because that'll have a little bit more context. All right.
Controversy, a shocking secret recording allegedly between council members making racist remarks about a fellow member's own son. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ross Palumbo.
And I'm Leslie Marin. One of the people allegedly recorded is the council's own president, Nuri Martinez.
And already tonight, she is responding with an apology. But despite that, there are already calls for her to resign.
So you'll start seeing them line up.
Shocking audio recordings posted on Knock LA.
Nuri Martinez.
Allegedly catching LA City Council's first Latina president using foul language, making racially charged statements and slurs. The most striking comments surrounding Councilman Mike Bonin's 2-year-old son.
This white guy with this little black kid.
Martinez saying the child was somehow acting inappropriately during the 2017 Kingdom.
Hey, so they say the boy, the little black boy, he's a token and a fashion accessory, all kind of stuff. And like a monkey, he was behaving on the float in the parade. That's what they said. But some are going to say, well, she didn't say monkey, but although she did say it, she didn't really mean it in a racist way. But at the same time, she say, oh, him and his little black son, why bring up race if you're not going to be racist? If you use the term monkey and you bring up the whole black thing, you're talking about, oh, black in a negative way. Then you say monkey. I mean, what am I to assume? Come on, let's just put 2 and 2 together and get 4.
Day parade.
I was like, this kid needs a beat down. Like, let me take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back. There's nothing you can do to control him.
So right there, they said the whole monkey thing, right? That's why they beeped it out. I forget what it was. Parece changuito. And if you guys speak Spanish, y'all let me know what's going on with that. But that's the whole thing about the monkey, as she called him, in her own language, which is very interesting.
And I'm just like, oh my God.
Referring to a 2-year-old black child as a monkey has no place in American politics today.
Pomona College political professor Sarah Sadwani saying it is flat out wrong.
Clearly, are racist comments. There's no other way to look at that.
Martinez allegedly making the comments during a redistricting meeting with 3 other Latinos, LA Labor Federation President Ron Herrera, council members Kevin De Leon and Gil Cedillo. The LA Times is also reporting that De Leon referred to Bonin as a 4th black member of City Council. Cedillo is also heard on the excerpts posted on Knock LA speaking about Koreatown.
Yeah, let's go K-Town. I see a lot of little short, dark people.
Yeah, puro Oaxacan Koreans.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there. You know, short, dark people, Oaxacan Koreans, you see what I'm saying? So they're laughing about their fellow countrymen. But from what I read about, Mexico and the culture, when they say the Oaxacan thing, it's like kind of a derogatory thing. It's like, look at those little short, black, dark people. We're better because we're more like white. That's what I hear. It's like when you were a kid in school, if you were Black American, you were here like African booty scratcher if you were dark skinned. That kind of reminds me of that, in my humble opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but y'all let me know. It's seen as a derogatory thing. It's not complimentary. You see what I'm saying?
Not even like Kevin, little one.
Although CBS 2 has not independently confirmed the audio's authenticity, at least 2 other people heard on the recordings are not denying their validity. Councilman De Leon saying there were comments made in the context of this meeting that are wholly inappropriate, and I regret appearing to condone and even contribute to certain insensitive comments made about a colleague and his family in private. I've reached out to that colleague personally. And Council President Martinez saying, in a moment of intense frustration and anger, I let the situation get the best of me.
Frustration, anger, y'all were laughing, having a good time. That was a regular conversation. There wasn't no frustration or anger. If you were mad, I can't tell. You having a good old time, yucking it up. You know, belly laughs in that conversation.
And I hold myself accountable for these comments. For that, I am sorry.
Is an apology enough at this point?
You know, she is the president of the LA City Council. She sets the standard for decorum of the entire city council. So I find it really problematic this kind of language would come from her.
After that language was directed at his son, Councilman Bonin, tonight saying, we are appalled, angry, and absolutely disgusted that Nury Martinez attacked our son with horrific racist slurs. It's vile, abhorrent, and utterly disgraceful. The city council needs to remove her as council president immediately, and she needs to resign from office.
And here's one thing I got to say. It wouldn't be as bad if these were not Democrats, leftists who keep talking about how we're the racists over here on the right. Oh, Trump, he's a racist. Right? You know, they keep accusing us of being racist while they say they're the progressives and there's no racism there. But when you get in behind closed doors, they're the exact opposite of that. So it's like, come on, what's going on? This is called projection 101.
Should she resign?
You know, that is something that I think she's going to have to take up. But
and she did after this was recorded. She did.
I think certainly there's no place for this in LA city politics.
Well, Professor Sadwani also points out the entire conversation was centered around redistricting in the city and shifting political lines while involving race. Neither Cedillo nor Herrera, by the way, have responded yet to our request.
So there you have it. That's the whole thing about LA City Council. And as a result, the president of the council first resigned as a president, but was still on the council. And now she's off the council completely. But Kevin De Leon and everybody else was on. It was about 4 of them, 4 Hispanic people on the call. And they were all talking the same way. But she's the only one that actually quit. They should all quit, actually. But you know what? This is what I'm talking about. People say this whole black and brown pride. They say that if you are a black person, the brown person is your ally naturally because they're brown. It's like, how does it make any sense? How are you my ally because you're a certain skin color? And that tells you right there they're not your ally if you're a certain skin color. Take that little boy and get him beat up around the corner. Take him down to the hood, to the ghetto, and get him beat up by some grown people. That'll teach him right there, little monkey. Is what I'm saying? You know, oh, I ain't going down a little to the Oaxacans, those little dirty Mexicans, little dirty, short, dark-skinned Mexicans. I ain't going down there. But then they get in front of the camera. Oh, Black Lives Matter. Hands up, don't shoot. Oh, okay, cool. But on that tape, you said something about this and this. What about that? What about that tape, though? You said the other day. Oh, like, don't worry about that. I was angry. I was frustrated. Oh, okay, cool. Typical BS from the left. And you know what? I'm triggered because that kind of talk I see in my inbox all the time. Oh boy, the leftists, look, if you get a leftist behind the shooter anonymity, they're very, very, very racist. That's typical. That's like every day. Very racist. But I was told over there when I was on the left a long time ago, back when I was young and dumb, didn't know any better. When I was on the left, I was told that the right were the racist ones and they hated black people. But now that I'm over here, I understand the reality. Okay? How about this, though? How about this? Why do you think there's a fight against school choice? Take a guess. Why is there a fight against school choice from the left, mostly? Why? Because guess what? They don't want your little bad black kids going to their good white schools. Yes, that's the truth. That's the reason. And there ain't no other reason. That's it. They say, oh, because it's going to ruin the schools. Nah, it's BS. Like a lot of things they say on the left aren't real. It's not real. It's a lot of race-based factors going on. A lot of race-based stuff. It's weird. It's so weird. You know, you see it when you get your kind of, when you get kind of red-pilled or have the wool removed from your eyes, you get to see what's going on. Okay. And then when you have these white people moving to like these bad areas, Black, Hispanic, brown, or whatever you want to say, neighborhoods, the purpose is to just get cheap land, cheap houses, and then change it. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but the point I'm making is they're not going there for the cultural part of it. They're not going there for that. They're going there because they want to make money. It's not because they want to be, they want to get the culture of the Black community. They don't care nothing about that. They couldn't care less. They prefer you just leave when they come in. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wanting to improve your community. My point is that they're not there for the purpose of trying to be around the quote unquote Black community or Hispanics. They're there for money, which they should be, but they say it's something different other than what it is. Matter of fact, I got a good it's a good TikTok video that I saw. Let me see if I can find it. I didn't watch it on TikTok. I watched it on Instagram. Hold on. Can we get some sound? Okay, here we go. Shout out to Art by Marcus Deshawn for reposting this on this story. And the caption here says, woke white person visits person of color home. Black person, a non-white person. That term right there, I hate. POC. That's like bougie Jim Crow. That's like nouveau Jim Crow.
This house is like a museum. Oh, should I take my shoes off? Okay. Wow. Such a beautiful coaster. I know. Oh, no. I can't stay for food. I can't.
Is it spicy? Was hilarious. Shout out to whoever made that. That's exactly how they be. That is hilarious. Shout out to him. Yeah, it's how they be though, and it's just so fake. It's at a certain point, I just gotta laugh at it because it's like, man, stop with all the nonsense. Stop trying to be phony. Just be real. You know, if we were just more honest with each other and more real, it'd be a much better place. It'd be a much better place. I guarantee. I guarantee you. But we got a few more topics on deck I'm gonna get to. Shout out to Nuri Martinez, the now former city council president, now former city council member. Who they gonna have to replace her? Another racist Mexican person? But anyway, I'm not saying they're all racist, but there are racist people in every particular race. There's no monopoly on racism, which is a thing that has been tried. It's been pushed in our modern culture that there's a monopoly on racism, as if you can't have a racist white person, a racist Black person, racist Hispanic, a racist Asian, whatever. Anybody could do that. There's no monopoly on it, but I'll move on. All right. And let's keep on rocking. What's my next topic here that I wanted to get to? Alex Jones. Oh, man. Alex Jones. Have you guys seen what happened to Alex Jones? So a defamation trial for Sandy Hook has concluded, and there's a verdict. Now, he's got to pay $965 million in damages, almost $1 billion in damages to the victims. Now, come on. I understand that people were upset and all this and that. All right, whatever. But come on, $1 billion? Be for real. You can kill somebody in cold blood for money. You can contract hit somebody and not pay anywhere near this kind of money in damages. Alex Jones may have a lot of money. Does he have $1 billion in liquid cash to give to anybody? Look, I mean, this is called bullying. This is called bullying. I don't care. People can say that he was wrong for whatever he said. Okay, cool. But we all have things that we say that aren't right, things that we say that could be a lie. He ain't the first person to lie or nothing like that. You know, it's just not even really a thing. This is because he's a political enemy. This is a kangaroo court. This is a mockery of the whole system. It's a mockery. $1 billion for defamation. Did anybody get hurt? Did he actually did he shoot somebody? Did he kill somebody? I mean, this is crazy. The reason why they're doing it is because he's Alex Jones, and he is a voice that they don't want to have out there in the public. This is part of the whole cancel culture thing. Because remember, he was one of the first guys, if not the first guy, that got wiped from the internet, or at least wiped from a lot of the internet's services. The payment processors, social media platforms, website hosting, everything. They wiped him. And they did it to Andrew Tate as well. They did it to Andrew Tate, did it to Alex Jones. Like, imagine waking up one day and your credit card don't work. Your phone is not working because you can't get service anymore. They're not going to service your they're not going to give you a contract on your cell phone. Imagine all these things simply stop working because you have unpopular opinions. You can actually kill somebody and have more benefits and freedom than that. You could kill somebody. You could be a whole serial killer, go to jail, free hots in the cot, free room and board. You got inmates now. They got computers. They got cell phones. Remember that rapper Pop Smoke who got killed in Los Angeles in the Hollywood Hills by some guys? The guys that are in jail for his murder were in the picture in jail. So there's a cell phone or something. They took a picture of them. These guys are eating Pizza Hut pizza in their cell. They showed a box of it and everything. So you can have cell phones, computer, Pizza Hut pizza, drugs, whatever you want in prison. And you might not be there for a long time. You can kill somebody and get out in 5 years. But if you say some things that are unpopular or might even be false, you got to pay $1 billion. Come on. This is a way to, he was an example to anybody that may want to do a thing that's similar to him. Hey, you guys out there, you right-wing conspiracy theorists, you shock jocks, you alternative news media platforms. Yeah, you guys, this is a message to you. We're going to use our power to silence you. And if you don't abide by our wishes, well, check this out. You're going to be ruined financially. You're going to be ruined personally. Your kids are going to be turning away from you. You won't have no more marriage. It's crazy. This is the whole thing with Alex Jones. That's what's going on here. So I don't really have a lot of words for what happened. So let me see if I can read some of this. So the verdict is second big judgment against the InfoWars host for spreading the myth that the deadliest school shooting in U.S. history never happened. Why is that a thing that you can't say, though? You can't have an opinion, even if it's incorrect factually. You can't have an opinion. One thing about opinions is that they're neither right or wrong. It's just your opinion. Why can't I say that on the radio show? Freedom of speech. You know, freedom of speech prevents you from getting locked up for saying things that are unpopular or even untrue. But you see, there's kind of a loophole in that. You can't go to the penitentiary for saying things like this. Like, they cannot lock Alex Jones up for this. However, they can punish him a different way. There's still a punishment. Although it's not going to the penitentiary, it's still as severe as penitentiary because it ruins you financially to the point where you can't do anything else with your life. So you might as well be in jail, but I don't know, man. I can't even really put it into word. You may as well, you're in jail with invisible bars when you have this kind of judgment against you. Now, my question is, how are they going to be able to collect it? Are they going to be able to garnish your wages, bank account, credit cards? I mean, how are they going to be able to collect on this? Because look, if I'm Alex Jones, I'm not paying 1 red cent. You hear me? I'm not paying 1 red cent. Take me to Gitmo, Big Rocks, Little Rocks, whatever you got to do. I'm not paying. Garnish what? I don't own a house. I live on a park bench somewhere in Somewhereville, USA. You don't know where I live. Matter of fact, I'm gonna flee to Ireland. All right, I'm gonna be in Ireland somewhere. In the bog, catching fish. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm not. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be in some kind of random country. You're not gonna know where I am, and I'll just be over there chilling. I got Bitcoin and Ethereum and whatnot. I got my assets over there. I'm gonna just bounce. I'm not paying nothing. No, not at all. So this is crazy. Oh, he will appeal. He has to appeal because the verdict is just over the top. It's prosecutorial. I don't know if it's prosecutorial misconduct. It's just the verdict is just not fair. I most certainly appeal for sure. Ain't no way I'm paying that. I mean, really, if it's me, I'm bouncing. I'm leaving. Okay, I'm gonna have a whole face mask on, a fake passport, and all that. I'm gonna get a height reduction. You ain't gonna know who I am. Who is this 5'6" dude that look like, Elder Barbs? I'm gonna have skin lightening. I'm gonna have hair extensions. Like, I got a bald head now. I'll be on there with a whole Milli Vanilli. Okay. Dreadlocks. You ain't gonna know who I am. I'm gonna be out of the whole country. Where's ABL, man? He left. He went somewhere. I don't know where he's at, man. He sent me a picture. All I see is trees and leaves and random animals. I'm not paying nothing. But again, this is just an example that they're trying to set because they don't want anyone to do what he did. They don't want anyone to have an alternative voice. A lot of people, their first, they're kind of the gateway into the political red pill was Alex Jones. A lot of guys have kind of followed that format and have done very well. And if he's able to be replicated over and over and over again, they can't control it. So then it becomes a problem that they want to just nip in the bud. So henceforth, that big judgment against them. It's a message. It's all it is. Like I said, you could kill somebody and get benefits. Basically, you could kill somebody and get king treatment. Okay, king treatment. 3 hots, a cot, Domino's pizza, cell phone, computers, letters, visits, phone calls, all that good stuff. It's crazy. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, I'm in the bog with the guns. Matter of fact, that's where the guns are at, in the bog somewhere. You ain't gonna know where it's at. That's where I'd be, for sure. Yeah, the nose job. I'm getting Michael Jackson, the Michael Jackson treatment. I go from black to white overnight. You ain't gonna know who I am. But yeah, like I say, I'm not necessarily saying that he's 100%. How can I say? I'm not saying I agree with everything he says, but I don't gotta agree with everything he says. I may not agree with everything he says, but that doesn't mean you should get locked up. I disagree with some things that he says. I agree with some things that he said that they don't agree with. But regardless of how I feel, my feelings are irrelevant when it comes to someone's freedom being taken away from them. That shouldn't be going on. All right. But that gets everything. All right. I wanted to say this part. If he's reporting fake news, like somebody was saying, if he's reporting fake news, and that's why he had the judgment against him, how about the mainstream media when they report fake news? How about this whole thing with the vaccine? When they said, hey, if you get the vaccine, you won't get the virus. That's a lie. If you get the vaccine, you can't spread it. That was a provable lie because they didn't even have that testing to say that. There was no basis for that statement. There was zero basis for that statement. It wasn't even tested for that. It wasn't even the purpose of the vaccine. The point was to reduce symptoms, and it didn't even really do that for real. Okay, if you had lower symptoms, it's because you had probably a better immune system than most, and it's because of herd immunity, like we said from the beginning. So it didn't do what it said it was going to do. It was a bold-faced lie. Now, will any of those people face any kind of consequences for what they said and for what they did? I don't think so. I think so not. But anyway, I digress. I've not seen that documentary for Candace Owens. I've not seen the documentary yet. Is it out today? I've not seen it. I think I'll watch the documentary and then I will maybe do a review on it, but I've not seen the documentary yet. A lot of what she's going to say in that film, I reported on. I'm not saying she took what I did. I'm just saying a lot of what she's talking about, I've reported on as far as Black Lives Matter being a scam. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that the documentary Candace Owens has. So here it is. I'm gonna just play the clip from. Well, I'll play the trailer for you guys right quick. I think it's released today. There's a premiere right now in Nashville, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't know about it until just today. But the documentary, I've seen this preview already. I'll play it for you guys right quick, and then I'll move to the next topic. Well, I'll move to Super Chats, and then I'll get to the calls. Okay, can we play it or nah? All right, Daily Wire, let's tighten up. Okay, we got a little freeze going on. Okay, let's try that one more time. Let's try that one more time.
So Black Lives Matter released their 990 IRS filings. They collected $80 million. Where is that money?
It's not here. Everything looks worse than it was.
Where have you seen that money impacted throughout the city? So my producer just sent me a link. It is just shocking to me because of how much money was raised to think that where he lived, the bills weren't being covered. Super frustrating, but that's a dead end, so. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Uh-oh.
Ready for some BLM pride? Another $200K went to escorts, BDSM workers, strippers, peep show workers, phone sex operators, and webcam performers. And then at that moment, it became personal. And I thought, not only am I going to say the truth, I am going to scream the truth louder than you can scream the lies. It's incredible that the majority of the world hasn't seen this.
So yeah, subscribe to Daily Wire as a paid member on Daily Wire, and you'll be able to get access to that. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. 200 grand on hookers, 200 grand on peep show workers. A peep show. What in the Pee Wee Herman? What in the 1987? What in the Jeffrey Dahmer is going on there? Peep show workers? I mean, you know what? I got to see that thing. But again, go to dailywire.com and sign up for the membership. I think it's a paid membership, and you can watch it there on their website. And it's released today, which is the 12th, October the 12th, 2022. All right. Now, Super Chat's on deck, and then I'll get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. I'll get to the calls in just a moment. Y'all please hang tight, and I will get right on it. Because favorite those right quick. I got to make sure I keep everything favorited because I'm going to do some videos tomorrow. I think I'm going to watch the documentary maybe tonight if I got a little bit of time. And then I'll do a review tomorrow. That's probably what's going on. All right. Like a peep show. Like, come on, Pee Wee Herman. Like, don't get caught with your pants down in the theater. But anyway, I don't want to get X-rated. Okay. Thank you to Apple, who says, last two live streams, Effort Ranger Xbox has been radio silent. You okay, Ranger? ABL family sends out prayers for you, buddy. Here's open all's well. Thank you to while Apple also says, while Russia launches nukes, will libs regret Biden? Also, God bless J6 MAGA Patriots and DC jail solitary. Also, please pray and donate to help J6 families. So sad. And pro-life raids, FBI held kids at gunpoint. Shame. Deep state feds are going to be judged by Jesus. Repent. ABL best Danny Glover film. Predator 2. Witness. I cannot say I'm a Danny Glover fan. Like, I'm not going to be like, you know what, I want to go see a Danny Glover movie. So I don't really know what he's actually had out there. And you know how I gotta do. I gotta Google it to see what he's been in. And you know what's funny? People, I just Googled Danny Glover and Donald Glover came up. So I guess if you kind of from the younger generation, you would think about Donald Glover, like Childish Gambino, and Atlanta, the TV series. But I remember Danny Glover from Riggs. I remember that. I remember Color Purple and all that kind of good stuff from like the 80s. When I was like a little kid, I would watch that like in the early 90s. But yeah, I don't really know about Danny Glover. That's kind of a random one. He's not really a guy that stars in movies, really. Not anytime recently. Like I said, Lethal Weapon, Predator, Color Purple, the 80s, that was his era, late 80s. But the most famous line, Riggs! That's all I really remember from Danny Glover back in the day. And then Color Purple. Also, ABL favorite, berry, straw, blue, black, raz, crayon, strawberry. You go with strawberries. Also, ABL, scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like rain? Well, I don't really know on scale of 1 to 10. I would just say that rain is needed. Like I like rain when it rains for my grass, so I don't gotta water it. Cause I don't have the I don't have a sprinkler system that's set up like an automated thing. I'm about to get one, really. If they can just do it without damaging my front lawn. If they can install a system without damaging my grass and trying to put sod down again, then I will get one of those. But yeah, I like rain a lot when it rains, so I don't gotta water my grass. Also, Patrice Cullors spent $1 million on renovation of the mansion. Yeah, I heard about that. So she renovated the backyard. I didn't know she spent $1 million on it. So here's something from New York Post. So the home cost $1.4 million, but the renovation they said it spent thousands. Spent about over $10,000, but I'm not really sure how many. But the actual house cost 1.4, but she didn't spend that much money on the renovation. So I think I might do a video on that. But she also put a $35,000 fence around her property. So those that say that they're against border walls and border walls are racist, love walls for themselves. They love very expensive fences. You're spending $35,000 on the fence. It seems pretty high tech and secure, huh? You got a fence with a gate and cameras and everything else to protect your property. But when we say we want that for the entire country, then we're racist. Funny how that works. You live far away in a place you got to have access to by gate. Like there's a gate on the whole community up there. And then to get to her home, there's a gate around that. So you're in the gate, inside of a gate, but having a wall on the border of the U.S.-Mexico is racist. Okay. Also, Apple says, how rich you think you'd be, ABL, if you were in BLM? Oh, if I was in BLM, or if I was a leftist and I was doing what I do now by being active and being outspoken, I'd be Steve Jobs. I'd be Elon Musk. I'd be trying to buy Twitter right now. Seriously, like I said, Black Lives Matter and BLM type organizations raised $10 billion after George Floyd died. $10 billion US after George Floyd died. Not only BLM, but BLM type stuff. Like guys are putting up fake Facebook pages and getting $300,000 overnight. Just the money was flowing like it was nothing. Yeah, people say you wouldn't be a grifter if you're a black conservative. Please, I'm just being myself. I can't be nobody else. I'm not a Hollywood actor. If I was a great actor like this, I go to Hollywood and just do that. Okay, I'll be Danny Glover myself. Talking about some Riggs, I'll be that myself if I was that good of an actor. But anyway, Apple also says, caller, turn off your live stream in the background, please. Also, still predicting a red wave on November the 8th, ABL. Hope so. I do. Thank you to Apple again, who says Trump should sue all upper media for Russia hoax, for sure. Michael Critchlow says, please play the Project Veritas video of Katie Hobbs running from R.C. Maxwell, spilling their drink and running in the bathroom. Hold on. Hey, shout out to my man R.C. Maxwell. Good dude. Met him a few times. Really, really good person. Let me see if I can find that video right quick. That was funny, though. I saw that on Brandon Tatum. He played that first part of it where she spilled the drink. That was hilarious. Let me see if I can find the actual the clip right quick. All right. Okay, it was like Katie Hobbs. Come on, let's find Katie Hobbs. All right, here we go. Let's check it out. But that was funny though. She was legit scared. Spilled the drink and everything. Her Diet Coke all over the place. Hold on 1 second for you guys. Let me get this up.
They're now both currently hiding in bathrooms.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Watch, check it out.
How's it going? Didn't mean to scare you there. R.C. Maxwell with Project Veritas Action. Just wanted to ask you a brief question about the statement that you made. Oh, just close the soda. Are you going to clean that up or just leave that here for the business? I just wanted to ask you about some comments you made on undercover footage regarding having a disdain for discussing politics. Now, do you recall that, Senator Hobbs? You kind of talked about how you don't like to discuss policy, you don't like to debate. Just wanted to know if that is informing your decision.
I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk politics with anyone who I don't know.
You've been caught on camera discussing your disdain for policy. Secretary, she's going inside of a restroom. She's ran. Secretary Hobbs has ran.
The bathroom note, really? Is that what we're going to do? If you get elected, you're gonna go in the bathroom when it's a tough question or something like that going on?
She doesn't want to discuss policy with me.
I would love nothing more than the opportunity to have a substantive conversation about this.
Wow, that's funny. I might gotta do a video about that to explore it a little bit further. That is funny. Shout out to R.C. Maxwell again. That was hilarious. Spilled the drink, ran in the bathroom with the food. And my thing is, are you going to eat the food? How are you going to go into the bathroom with the food? Okay, if I got a Whataburger or whatever, I'm not going to the restroom with the food because I don't know who's been in there banging needles or whatever, doodling on the ground. I don't want my food to have the bathroom stuff, the bathroom bacteria kind of mixed up in it. That's not very sanitary, right? But anyway. Right. Yeah. If I identify as female, I can go in the bathroom with her, huh? Yeah. I identify as woman. Me go in the bathroom with you, do an interview. Okay. Let's keep on rocking here. Hollow Rider 1 says, I was waiting for that priest to burst into flames. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that. Thank you to Mallory Foster who says, ABL wave. What's your opinion on why they are still mandating the jab for healthy people when we found out such things as yesterday a Pfizer executive stating it was never tested on preventive transmission? Ridiculous bureaucracy, people that are scared still. That's why you still see mask wearing voluntarily because of fear. That's all. And people don't want to get sued and things of that nature. It's just a bunch of crap that was started by the government and the mainstream media that companies are now still following. Thank you to Aaron Bethea, who says woke pastors are likely to have severe punishment on the day of the Lord. Matthew 18:6, pardon me, and 2 Peter chapter 2. Thank you to Ethnic Conservative, who says ABL 2024. Thank you to Caius Posthumous, who says the former Trump administration wants war with the cartels. Also, Virginia follow Newsom on the pork and energy tax. I think it's Debt Machine Company who says inmate accused of impersonating California billionaire to steal $11 million while inside maximum security lockup, bought $4 million mansion, $4 million house in Atlanta. Check your email. Will do. Michael Guest says, when will Democrats ever learn at any time individuals can monitor their private, behind closed doors conversations? That's right. Kai's Posthumous says, Jones's ruling puts every commenter you at risk. Exactly. Thank you to Santo Bartes, who says AJ told to pay $1 billion for speaking words. Epstein's client list still walking free. The victims of their crimes can't even civilly sue because who would consider what happened to Epstein in jail? Exactly. Thank you to Tam, who says, what do you think of PayPal's policy update now? Finding people $2,500 for misinformation. That's not true. That was put out there, but they rescinded it. Like, I'm not sure if it leaked or what, but that was put out there, and then they said, no, we're not going to do that. Talking about something, it came out accidentally. It was a draft. I think what happened was they put it out there to test, to see if there was going to be a big backlash, if there was going to be support or what. But then when they saw a lack of support, accounts being closed left and right, then they said, okay, we're not going to do the $2,500 thing for misinformation. So that's not that didn't happen actually, but it probably was going to. Thank you to Nick Corio, who says, "Hey, do you watch the MLB? If so, are you a Braves fan or do you not really care? Also, can you do the Shaq voice?" Well, yeah, man. I know I'm a Braves fan. I live right here, not far from Atlanta. I'm a Braves fan by far. Like, I would go to a Braves game. I've been to the Battery, of course, down in Atlanta, but I can't really say I follow the Braves that much. I'm a basketball guy, you know, Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq Diesel. Yeah, basketball though, but basketball is what that's my passion. Oh, I love it. Yeah. I play basketball sometimes. Watch basketball. Playoff time, forget about it. I've been to a few pro games. I'm gonna go this year as well. I'm gonna go to a Warriors game. I'm gonna go to a Hawks game, of course. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go see some of the best teams. And I want courtside seats. I want to do it one time. I don't know how who I gotta talk to at BLM to give me some courtside seats. I would like, look, Patrice Cullors, I know you got the money. Can I get some courtside seats to the LA Lakers game? You got it. You got a mansion worth $6 million and then one worth 1.4. You live in the $1.4 million mansion. Let me get courtside Lakers tickets. I get to see LeBron James in his last year probably before his boy come into the league. Let me do that. I love it. But anyway, I digress. F-Range Xbox says DC FBI building explosions. I've not heard about that. Is there something happening right now? Is it breaking news? I don't know anything about it. But let's go ahead and get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Also, if you like basketball, watch the Redeem Team documentary on Netflix. It's very good. Very good documentary about how Team USA lost in the Olympics in basketball in 2004 after never losing. I think they lost one time in 1972, but they got cheated. They lost against Russia. Like, Doug Collins made 2 free throws and won the game, basically. Then they came back and said, oh, there's still 3 seconds on the shot clock. It was crazy. The game was already over with. They're celebrating. And then they said, nah, we still got more time on the shot clock. And then the Russians were able to score and win after that. It was crazy. But yeah, they lost for the first time in 2004. And they came back in 2008 to win. So that was a good documentary. And one thing I got from the documentary was how bad of a coach Larry Brown was. Larry Brown sucked. He was terrible. Okay, he was real bad. 88 lost as well. Well, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Hold on. Eric R says, ABL, do you think colleges would ever let students go back to school instead of just online? I mean, it depends on where you go, because I know kids are going to school. Kids are in college. It depends on where you live. Are you living in Left Coast, California? I mean, I guess it depends on where you're going to school. Not all colleges are going to be online only. I see kids going to college right now on campus. So it just depends, really. So, yeah, shout out to Doug Collins. Shout out to you guys watching. Let's get to the calls. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. There's also an email for Skype in the description box. If it doesn't work right, it's not my fault. You know who to blame. Blame the white man, because I have no responsibility there. All righty. And we're going to go ahead and get rocking and rolling. Let me get everything set up properly. And we're going to do it just like that. All right. 918, you're going to learn who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, ABL? It's JB Scotch from Oklahoma. How you doing, buddy?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Hey, not a lot. Yeah, great show as always. Great topics. Really glad Tulsi Gabbard, finally dumped the Democrat Party, which I had a feeling she was going to do eventually, because she's logical. I mean, she seems like a really intelligent woman. So that was cool. And the way you're going to, like if you were talking about Alex Jones earlier about leaving the country, your escape plan cracked me up, dude.
I'm going to that bog,
getting
man.
your height.
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah, that was funny stuff. But there was one thing I wanted to tell you, and I'll keep it short. You know, I mean, I love your shows, and I go back and I watch like older episodes, you know, quite a bit. And there was one, I got it here, from September 17th, you know, so about a month ago.
Okay.
The topic was Migrants Vineyard, Don Lemon canceled, Kanye versus Gap. And I clicked on it and I seen something that I never saw before. I get a black screen before the video plays. It says the following content has been identified by the YouTube community as inappropriate or offensive to some audiences.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I think what happened was I was playing some video that they said was oh, I know what happened. I think it was a fight video, or it might have been that the Hatchet man. Remember that the Hatchet guy from New York City?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I played that. I think they gave me an age gate on that, and also the original video that I did on that subject. So yeah, that's what happened with that, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I still watch it. So you can click. It says, I understand and wish to proceed. I mean, that was just, well, that's so stupid. I mean, come on, YouTube. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say tonight. I'll just say, I'll sit back and watch and enjoy the rest of the show, and love you, man. Love all people in the chat and the callers, and have a good night, buddy.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
All right, later, dude.
All right, great call. And speaking of Hatchet Man, Axe Man, he got arrested again. Let me see if I can find the clip right quick. Y'all give me a second. So yeah, here it is. All right, Bronx man who smashed up Manhattan McDonald's with axe is busted again. So that's him right there. What happened was in a new case, he had done something. Let me see if I can find. Oh, he was spraying graffiti. Like, who's spraying graffiti in 2022? He was spraying graffiti and got caught. And then when he was about to get arrested by the cops, he stole somebody's bike, like a super expensive bicycle, like a $3,500 bicycle. He sold a bike and got on a bike and ran away from the police. So a high pedal chase. I'm not really sure what happened. But yeah, so he got arrested again after that, because obviously you're not going to be able to outrun no cops on no bike. But he was released yet again. This is New York City. So when Eric Adams says we have a certain brand, we have a brand. Okay, what's the brand? People just doing whatever they want to do, spraying graffiti, smashing up McDonald's, and just getting released, no bail or nothing like that. But spraying graffiti, like what in the break-in 1984, I mean, hip-hop music video is going on there. Call speaker to on the line, 956, someone speaking to.
This is Jim.
All right, man, what's going on?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on Tulsi Gabbard for a moment. I know she's been on the news here lately, switching parties, or maybe not picking a party, but obviously moving away from the Democrats. I think if you go and Google World Economic Forum alumni, and she happens to be one of them.
Yep.
I just find it odd that people are thinking that somehow a lot of these figures in power, which are playing both sides of us, really aren't who they say they are. They just seem to be putting on a show, I guess. I'm not really sure.
Well, the thing about Tulsi Gabbard is that she's not conservative. She's always been on the left. I think she's just leaving the Democratic Party, but she did not say where she's going. She'll probably go be independent and not Republican.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I just I hope people realize that there's more going on here that meets the eye. You know, anybody that's tied to the World Economic Forum are tied to the globalists, which obviously don't have the best interests of our country at heart, I guess would be the best way to put it. So I won't keep you any longer. I just thought I would mention that.
Right on, man. Thank you for your call. I appreciate you.
Take care.
All right, now. All right, shout out to the caller. Let's go to my next call here. 424 on line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Dave in Los Angeles, better known as Zuma Dog. And Los Angeles is on the map today, isn't it?
It sure is.
Now, I just tuned in, so I didn't hear you. I guess you covered it, the LA City Council, right?
Yes.
Well, I have some details. I've been, you know what a gadfly is? I've been a city council gadfly since 2006. I've run for mayor of Los Angeles. I've exposed more corruption than anybody in history, they tell me. So I'm a living legend in the city of Los Angeles. I know Nuri Martinez, Kevin De Leon, Gil Cedillo, these low-life scumbags. You know, the Democrats always say the Republicans are racist. Well, the truth has come out, hasn't it? Some of the things they said, did you cover the fact that Nuri Martinez called Mike Bonin, the white guy, he's got the black adopted son. Did you mention what she called him?
Yeah, a monkey, basically, in her language.
Yeah, she called him a little monkey. I mean, oh my, but then not only that, but then she attacked the white people. She said, oh, he's raising his kid like a white person.
Yep.
Like, I guess that's bad if you raise somebody like a white person. She said the Jews, they're going to screw everybody. The Armenians, I bet his name ends with an IAN. And even the native Hispanics, they go, boy, they've taken over Koreatown, all those short, dark people. So, I mean, these are just sick, vile people. And you know what really makes me sick, Anthony? They're career politicians. There's something here in California. It's called the Mexican Mafia. It's something that's very real. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, well, they run the state. And so these people bounce around from the school district, then their assembly, then they're, in the legislature, and then they're in the city council. And yeah, because they got the Mexican Mafia backing them. And this Nuri Martinez, first of all, when you hear her talk, she's the dumbest sounding person I've ever heard. The first time I heard her speak, it's like, how is she an elected official? She talks like a dumb first grader. And then they make her council president. First Latina council president. I'm an inspiration to all Latina women. Yeah, because the Mexican Mafia put you in charge. Okay, so this is a total disgrace. And, of course, you can imagine it's on all the talk radio around the clock. I've never seen a situation of a local council where Joe Biden, where the president of the United States weighs in. He said they needed to resign. It was basically hundreds of people showed up at council today and were making such a ruckus. They had to cancel the council meeting. And so that was basically the end when you can't do city business because of the disruption. But here's what's interesting. The council president allowed the disruption on purpose, bro, so that they can then say, look, you better step down. We can't do city business. Because I've attended hundreds of these council meetings. And if there's a disruption, they have the Los Angeles Police Department clear the chamber and put everybody outside. Hey, you're being disruptive. You have to go outside. So he could have easily done that. He allowed it to happen, which is good theatrics on his part. I know I'm trying to get it all in here. But what really this is about, of course, everybody focuses on the racist comments, which, by the way, is interesting because the room was bugged. How did these comments come out? Oh, my gosh, it was from last year. Imagine the surprise when this came out 2 days ago, right, when there's elections coming up. And, they must have been like, what the F? Somebody had the room bugged. So everybody in City Hall's panicking now. What else do they have on tape? Because first they put out the part about that she called the black kid a monkey. Then they didn't resign. So then it came out about the Jews and the Armenians. Like they put a second wave out there. And what this is really about, it was during a redistricting meeting. You know about redistricting when there's the maps and they divide up the city as to every city and state does it. They divide it up as to, how the districts are going to be drawn. And then the council members preside over that area. Well, those three Latinos got together with the union head to try to screw the black community, to try to make it so they have the weakest amount of power, and then they get pushed out. So this is really, that's the worst part. That's the worst part of it. So that's it. You got any questions for me, bro?
You pretty much got everything laid out pretty much perfectly. I don't have much to ask or to add. So I think it's really interesting how it's all coming out now. Like you said, the main thing would be what are they going to come up with next? I didn't even see the thing about the Jews and the Armenians. So it's probably going to be a slow drip until maybe some other guys get. Oh, here's a question. I wonder why Kevin DeLeon and these other guys did not have to resign or get fired after they got caught on tape saying some things with Nuri Martinez.
You know what? It just shows the stubbornness and selfishness because they didn't break the law. If you want to call a black kid a monkey, and if you want to say the Jews are going to screw everybody, and if you want to say, I guess his name ends in IAN, that's not breaking the law. It's not taking a bribe. They cannot be forced to step down. But there is nobody, they're just being selfish because they make $200,000 a year, plus the slush fund, plus the perks, plus you get to be king of your fiefdom. And, I know Kevin DeLeon, and he is backed by the Mexican mafia. And they're probably thinking, gee, we can sit this out, it'll blow over. But no, this is not going to blow over. So really, once you have the president of the United States, the mayor, there's a mayor race coming up, and both candidates, you got the senator, nobody is supporting them to stay. Nobody's saying well, they did apologize. A lot of times they're, they apologize. They do a lot of good, let them say, no, they had nobody standing up for them. So it's strictly out of selfishness and stubbornnness. And ABL, I'm here to tell you with great certainty, they're going to be stepping down probably before Friday's council meeting. There's no way the pressure, there's no way they can endure this. The people that are showing up by the hundreds in the city council chambers to shut the meeting down today, well, they're going to be back on Friday. They're professional gadflies. They're basically people without jobs and homeless, and they're the Occupy LA crowd. They're like the rabble rousers. They can go there every day. So I guarantee you they are going to step down, and they're just not wanting to admit it at this point.
Wow, man. Well, thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, ABL.
Wow, very, very good call. I didn't even hear that about the Armenians and the Jews and whatnot. See, that got it right there, because remember, first, all that Nuri Martinez did was just step down as a president. She did not resign from the city council. She was still on the council, just not as a president. And then when the second audio came out about the Armenians and the Jews, oh, no, now I got to quit all the way. Now I got to quit all the way. Kanye said some things about Jews and some other kind of people, and all of a sudden now his bank is gone. They revoked his bank account. I think he has a JP Morgan Chase account, and then they took it away. Anyway, 585 online. Who am I speaking to?
This is James.
All righty, what's happening?
How you doing?
Everything's all good, man. Can't complain. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, sir.
All righty, what's going on?
Nothing. Just had a couple of questions for ABL.
Well, you're live right now. This is me talking to you.
Hello?
Yes. Okay. Now, if you have the stream on in the background, just turn that off for me right quick. I'm ABL right now. You're talking to me, so you can go to ask me, ask your question. I'm right here.
How you doing, brother?
It's all good, boss. Can't complain.
What is your thoughts on with Easy and everything, with questioning the whole his whole thing, questioning Jewish elites and stuff like that? Do you think this is something that should be
untouchable or something like that? Why should one group have some like in preference just because like most of the people he's questioning is more or less people that's not everyday people. You know what I'm saying? Whether Jewish or whoever. Do you think, you know, this should not be being staved or put in the way that it's being projected as anti-Semitic and all these type of things?
Well, I'm not sure what the actual what he said. Like, I know some things about Jews that he said, but I don't know exactly what he said. But to answer the general question, I mean, if you're going to talk about certain groups, it shouldn't be any groups that's off limit. You can talk about anybody. That should be the way it is. But I don't know exactly what he said. It was something about, I don't know exactly what the words were. But just in general, speaking about groups, it shouldn't be off limits.
Right. But I think, you know, I mean, you should be able to sort of talk about, you know, anyone. But I mean, it seems to be more of a pressure from people in power and not, you know, an everyday person mentality is what it's seeming like.
You say it one more time. Say it one more time for me.
It's saying like more or less, you know, this is coming. It seemed like he's getting pressure from the top, from people in power, and not, you know, your everyday people.
Oh, of course,
you know,
because
he called.
Nah, because he's Kanye. He's Kanye West. That's the problem. Like, even if it wasn't about the Jews, it's been about other things as well. Just like the whole thing with Trump.
Right.
They were telling them, you know, don't support Trump. It wasn't just normies saying it. It was people that were at the very top saying the same thing. So when you go outside of what they want you to do, meaning those that are at the top, then you're going to get pressure from the top. And even those that are around you, they will try to pressure you as well. Just like we were saying in the actual interview about the whole Trump thing, or not even about Trump, about the vaccine. He was talking about how the Clintons were trying to talk to Kim and pressure him to saying certain things about the vaccine and whatnot. You see what I'm saying? Because once you're kind of like beyond their control, they want to try to reestablish some kind of control. They want to have that type of power over you about different things, not just the whole thing about the Jews, but also about other stuff.
Right. So, I mean, they're basically trying to get you into like a serf mentality. I mean, the way I look at it, we're sort of getting into a pseudo feudalism, you know, if you want to, you know, call it that, because, you know, where is, you know, some of the political power going? It's not going to the people or anything like that. It's just, you know, a transfer of power to power from one time to the next.
Yeah, right on. Well, thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Yep. Thanks.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's go to 903 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. This is Marshall Burns from Waco, Texas. Doing okay tonight?
Hey, things great, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. I just wanted to ask you a quick question. How incredibly unsurprised are you that the Waukesha, Wisconsin Christmas parade massacre is getting so little coverage with their trial, especially compared to what's the kid's name?
What, Johnny?
You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about Kyle Rittenhouse.
There you go. Yeah. Big difference, huh?
Oh, huge difference. I mean, from the beginning, because from the beginning, they were talking about, a car ran through the crowd. Like a car, like what was the car autonomous? Did it just, was it a transformer, have a mind of its own? Was it an alien car? Or was it a person driving the car that went through this crowd of people and killed them and injured them? Like, what was really going on?
Well, it's obvious that to prevent all these mass murders, we're going to have to take all the cars away.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. No more cars.
Hey, okay, so that was my quick question for you. If you don't mind, I wanted to brag about something. I have secured an interview with one of your buddies. I'm interviewing Jericho Green on my brand new sports channel.
All right, that's a good thing. Shout out to Jericho Green, really good dude.
Yes, sir. I hope people check into that. You know, he's a hilarious dude, man.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, bud. Well, I'm going to go ahead and hang up and listen to the rest of your show. You have a great night, okay, bud?
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
All right, great call. And you guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you enjoy what you were hearing thus far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Let's go to the next one here. 954, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, hang on one second, man. Let me turn your feed off on my other device.
All righty.
Hey, yeah, I've been listening to you for I don't know how long, man. You used to get that calls from that nipping dude in England all the time. I've been listening for years, but I never called in before. But you were talking about the Redeem team.
Yeah.
You were saying that they hadn't lost since 72. The 72 team had that controversial finish, and then they refused to get the silver medal. But the 88 team, if you remember, that was David Robinson and Chris Mullen, and John Thompson was the coach. They didn't even make the gold medal game. They went to the bronze medal game and won that. And then 92, that's when the pros got in.
I see. Okay.
Because they didn't even make the gold medal game in 88. So then they were like, we can't have this happen. So the response was Jordan, Magic, Bird. You know, we can't do that again as America. We got to win that gold. So they put the pros in. But that's the reason I called. But these people, they're getting fooled by Tulsi. Do you think if Tulsi was still a sitting member of Congress as a Democrat, she would be making that announcement that she's leaving the Democrat Party?
Nah, she couldn't. She couldn't even do that. Actually, I think you can't even do that while you're sitting as a member of the Democratic Party or any other party. You can't just say.
Well, you could denounce your party. You could denounce your party.
Well,
they've had people that switch parties in the past.
Okay.
But she wouldn't do that if she was still a sitting member of Congress.
No.
And what would you think if Joe Biden had given her a cabinet seat? Would she be denouncing the Democrat Party right now if she was the Secretary of Transportation or something?
No way, no how.
Not at all. Not at all. She's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Her party doesn't want her anymore, and she's looking for somewhere to land. So don't be fooled by Tulsi Gabbard.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I'm not fooled at all. Like I kind of saw through what was going on. It's like, okay, she'll say some things that I can agree with, but it doesn't mean that I agree with her as, you know, a political person. I'm not going to vote for her because she said things I agree with. I mean, Obama might come out and say a thing I agree with. Joe Biden can say a thing I agree with, but I'm not going to vote for Obama or Joe Biden because I look at their entire track record, the voting history, and the way they are. And with Tulsi Gabbard, gun grabber, pro-abortion, CFR, WEF, the list goes on. So based on that, I wouldn't ever vote for Tulsi Gabbard or support her politically.
100%. And these dudes they see a pretty face and she talks good and they're like, oh, well, she's with us now. No, she's not. She's not with us.
Right.
She's just looking for somewhere to land because her party didn't want her. She topped out at what, like 2% with the 2020 presidential campaign, and the writing was on the wall. I got to get out of here. Let me find somewhere else to land. Same thing that Andrew Yang is doing. You know, Andrew Yang still wants that $1,000 a month to go out to people. He's still on that side. He couldn't get any traction over there, so he's like, oh, I'm not a Democrat anymore.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, I'm a huge David Robinson fan. That was his only bad mark on his record was he won the bronze in that '88 Olympics. But everything else, David Robinson is the man. So, but I appreciate ABL. I've been listening for years, like I said, and I'll keep listening, man. Keep doing your thing.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. Let's go to 440. You don't lie. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, how's it going? This is George. I think I feel like last time for that show.
Oh, it's all good, man. What's happening? I hear you well.
Nothing much. I was just listening to what you had to say at the beginning of the show related to the jab. The thing is, I took mine May of 2021. Never had issues so far. I'm working out, like doing my cardio each day. No issues so far, but you know, should I be worried? I don't know. Like, do old people get some health problems after the beginning? Or I don't know.
You kind of muffled. I can't really hear what you're saying. You're talking about going to the gym, and then after that, I couldn't really hear you.
Hold on a second. You don't hear me now better?
I think so.
Yeah, so you were talking about the jab. Like, people have had heart problems and stuff.
Yeah.
I had mine in May of 2021. Never had any issues so far. I do go to the gym daily and work out and do cardio. But it got me thinking, like, should I worry? Like, I don't know. What's your opinion?
I would say go to a cardiologist to see what's going on with yourself. I mean, I can't really say that you should worry or not, but maybe just get yourself checked out and see what's going on. I'll probably do that for sure. And if you notice, if you do cardio, you kind of you know your body, how it's going to react and how you should feel. If you feel a little different, like something ain't right, I would say go to a doctor and get checked out.
Yeah, the thing is, like, it's been like more than a year and a half ago, and didn't have any problems so far. But then I keep hearing stuff, and I got a buddy that his buddy got a heart attack recently, and he had the jab. So that kind of like got me thinking, you know. But maybe that's not a general rule, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know what.
It's not a general rule, and also I think if you're already healthy, maybe you have and you're not. How old are you? Are you like between 18 and 30?
30. I'll be 39 like next week.
You're like right at the tail end of the danger zone that they say you shouldn't get it. So I don't know. And I think they said a lot of times there were like immediate symptoms of that. Like
yeah,
within,
exactly.
Like
one of
days.
my buddies had it like 2 weeks after.
Right.
You know. So for me, it's been a year and a half now, but I'm wondering, like, should I worry like 2, 3, 4 years from now? You know, this is. It kind of like feels like if you ever seen those commercials on TV where it says like between the year this and that, have you ever taken this medicine? You'll be maybe entitled to compensation because this has caused cancer or some other stuff like that. I kind of have the feeling that we're going to see those commercials in the future for this jab.
Right, exactly. That's pretty much what I'm saying the same thing. They probably would try to have that in there because they rushed it out. They didn't know what they were doing. Now all of a sudden they got a problem.
Yeah, that's so messed up. It's kind of like, oh my God, everybody was pushing everybody just to take it, and they were demonizing all the other people. Actually, I had to take it because I had to travel. It was like an emergency basis. My dad passed away, and I had to like travel, so I kind of like had to take it, but you know, didn't think too much of it. But now that I see this stuff that's coming out, I'm like, oh boy.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for having me on your show.
Well,
have a good one.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, man, I can't necessarily say what you should and should not be worried about, but I say visit a cardiologist and get yourself checked out if you have any kind of concerns. You know, I'm not Dr. ABL. I'm Uncle ABL, not Dr. ABL. So y'all, you just go ahead and do that. All right, James, what's happening?
How you doing, brother?
It's all good,
everybody,
man.
Yeah, everybody good? Okay. I felt kind of bad earlier. Some dude named James called in. People in the chat were like, "Is that James? Is that James in Japan?" I said, "That's not me. It's not me." But he's a good caller. Yeah, that fella's right about the jab. Everybody over here is still requiring it, and I had to get it to travel. Otherwise, they wouldn't let you on the plane. And jabber's remorse and all. I don't know what to say about that, but it is what it is. Didn't let my kids get it though, of course.
Right, of course.
Yeah, I mean, they're growing and I don't want anybody to get the jab before they have kids, especially. Who knows what it's going to do to the next generation. Anywho, that's not what I was calling about. Actually, I was just calling for one thing. I wanted to tell you, I got my absentee ballot, and I wanted to remind everybody to vote because that is unbelievably important, especially this year.
Oh yeah, very, very important. Like it's kind of like it's kind of hard to even put it into words how important it is right now because a lot of people don't necessarily think about midterm elections being very important. I mean, we do here on this channel because we're politically inclined, but the average normie, they have no idea what the midterms even are.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand the importance of the primaries. They don't understand the importance of the midterms. And too many people for a long time would go out and they'd vote, they'd stand in line, and then they'd see in the news, oh, well, it's looking this way. And then they'd walk home, like even before they'd gotten to vote.
Wow.
So, oh, well, we've won or whatever. And yeah, this is, you got to vote, especially this time. And then obviously in 2024, we've got to, do not put that off. Do not let somebody else do it for you. Don't assume that it's going to be a solid win. No, don't do that. So bad.
Right on.
Somebody in the chat was asking me about North Korea. What was that somebody wanted to ask? No. Let's see. What did you guys want to ask about North Korea? Did somebody want to ask something about that? They've been dropping bombs over us again, obviously.
So they're probably asking if has anything like happened? Did you guys get hit, or was it just like they're just shooting the bombs over you? And
no, they're trying to. He's trying to flex, I think, which he would never have done under Trump. Right. But he's just trying to. They're shooting missiles basically over us, saying, yeah, we can hit you if we want to.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody being that dumb. I mean, you just poison your food supply. You know, you got to get fish from someplace, man. Don't even hitting it in the water, blowing it off in the ocean. You're irradiating your food supply, man. It's not a really good.
Right.
It's not a good strategy. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to remind everybody to vote and. Please don't neglect to do that, everybody. That's it. Anyway. No, we're not afraid. Atomic Tabasco was asking if we were afraid. No.
Right on, man.
I don't think so. I mean, I guess a lot of folks might be, but folks in Tokyo, you just kind of assume that people are too smart to go to a nuclear war. On the other hand, Russia and that whole Ukraine thing, that is totally avoidable, but nobody's gonna listen to what negotiations. There's arrogant money everywhere. I don't get it. Anyway, yeah, the elite, the International Monetary Fund, all that. All right, I'll let you go, dude.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
All right, shout out to my man for the call. James in Japan, great call. Let's go to some more here. Who am I speaking to? Oh, okay. A little slow from that one. Let's go. All right, anonymous caller. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, this is Dave Pauly. Am I on?
All right. You're on. If I'm on in the background, turn it down for me, please. Or turn it off.
Oh, it's off. It's off now. Oh, thanks for taking my call. I was just calling to see in regards to Kanye's rants. I had been thinking about Cynthia McKinney, the former congresswoman who she gave a testimony a while back about how people in Congress are required to support Israel. Politics. I don't know the whole details, but there's like videos on that. And then the other thing that was like kind of interesting was David Schimmer, or the actor. He came out and he was saying that Jews only make up 2.4% of the U.S. population, and then it kind of had me wondering, like in context to Kanye's rant. I'm looking at like a list of all these CEOs that run like Universal Music Group, Sony Music Group, Warner Music Group, all like the major things, and they're all Jewish, and in ratio, like if they only make 2.5% of the U.S. population, and you consider the ratio of all the Americans and how many of them are in power, it kind of give some credence to what Kanye is ranting about. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just want to call and just see if you ever thought about that. The difference between what Kanye's ranting about CEOs running it, and then Cynthia McKinney's testimony a while back. So that's all.
So, like, what's the actual point though? Like, if Jews do run a lot of the country, what's the actual statement that's being made when someone points it out?
It's really just to compliment. Like, I think that's what Kanye West is saying, isn't it?
I don't know what's his actual point, because I know that he said some things about Jews, but I don't know exactly what he was saying. So what was his point?
He, from what I'm understanding, maybe I'm totally misunderstanding it, but it seems like in context he's saying like, oh, people need permission, like they're gatekeepers, or when someone does something, they're being told to do it because Jews are telling them to do it. So it seems like in context he's saying that Jews are in control of a lot of like politics or things that you are supposed to say or not supposed to say. In like his rant, that's what it seems like, and it seems like what he's trying to say might be taken out of context and being anti-Semitic, but it seems like there's some credence to what he's trying to talk about. Mix that in with Cynthia McKinney. Are you familiar with her testimony a while back?
No, but you described it, so I kind of understand what she was saying.
Okay, so just in regards to those two things, I don't know why people are getting so upset about Kanye pointing those things out when it seems kind of like accurate.
Well, I think the thing about Kanye and people that are upset, they're just upset because they think he's just being negative against Jewish people. And people that are Jewish are upset, and those that are upset for them are upset as well. So that's kind of just what it's about. But as far as them being in power, I mean, yeah, a lot of them are in power. And if they're in power of a certain thing, they have power to request certain things. So, I mean, I don't think his point, I don't think his rant would really make a difference. You know, it's almost like it's almost like this. It's almost like you're trying to find an advanced white man to blame. That's what it feels like to me, because it's like the low level person would say, okay, the white man's holding me back, but the big brain guys like the Jews holding me back. I think it's both an excuse to not succeed to your highest level of potential. It's the same thing to me. It's just one is a more of a woke version of the other. But it's the same.
Now, in regards to color, like when you say like the white man, the other part that confuses me is when he started ranting saying the Jews are black and went into this whole thing about the 12 tribes of Judah. So it's kind of confusing. Like, is he really being? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something else though. He's kind of getting himself confused. You know, Kanye, I like Kanye, but Kanye has a lot of information in his head that doesn't really make any sense. Or I want to say, I also want to make sense. It's kind of just like this is disjointed. On the one hand, he's talking about the Jews. You can identify like people that run certain things in the country that are more white appearing. Then he's speaking about Hebrew Israelite type stuff. You see the guys on the street corner. That's right. Those guys, the black guys in New York City and other parts of the country, they're outside on the street corner with the Bible shouting at white people. That's the Hebrew Israelites. That's a whole different story. They think they're Jewish as well. So you have two different things he's talking about at the same time. They don't make sense together, but they're in his mind, so he's going to speak it. That's kind of what's going on.
I hear what you're saying. I get it. That's all I just wanted to talk about with you. Thanks for taking the call.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, man, that whole thing about the Jews, it's like, I said it before on this channel, the Jews are the white man's white man. Or if you're kind of beyond the whole blame the white man stage, you go to blaming the Jews stage because, oh, they're in power, they control everything. But how about you control something? You come up with the industry, you control it, and then you make the rules. But if you're not going to do it, then somebody else will. It is what it is. And then the same way you could say that Jews are disproportionately in power, like a lot of organizations and whatnot. You could say black guys are disproportionately in the NBA, 81% in the NBA, the majority of the NFL. You could say that about that too. Is that a conspiracy theory, or is it just they happen to be good at it? I don't know. Same way you could say that probably the majority of NFL head coaches are white, or maybe even the NBA head coaches, most of them are white. Is it some kind of racist thing behind it? Is it a conspiracy? Like, what is that? Maybe the best guy got the job. Maybe there's no other guy that can compete with LeBron James on the basketball level that is not black. Find me the white LeBron James. Find me that. Find me the black Phil Jackson. Find me that. But I don't want to go down that road. That's a little bit too different. I don't want to do that right now. I'm just saying, whoever is best for the job, let them be best for the job. And if you are upset that people have a certain stranglehold on society or on certain areas of power, then you ascend to that level. It's simple. The world is made of humans. The world is made of society and people and being able to communicate and all that. If you don't like your position in life, if you don't like where you are, then just advance. Especially right here in America, you could do whatever you want in America, whatever you desire. And if you're not doing it, then whose fault is that? That's my question I would ask. Yeah, you know, blame the white man. That's why I always joke about that. Every day I say, hey, it's not my fault, blame the white man. It's the same argument. It's kind of, to me, it's just kind of funny. 385 on the line, who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Mitchell.
All righty, what's happening?
Hey, ABL, I just want to tell you, man, you're really funny. I enjoy your style. You're really cool. Enjoy your live streams and your video commentary. You're really great. I just wanted to say it's really great seeing the Great Awakening going on with the information flow of the internet and not everybody relying on mainstream media anymore. Everybody's kind of waking up right now, and there's a great awakening happening. There's even people becoming more religious, and it's really great. It's kind of a great time to be alive right now. But I'd also like to say that the world is kind of 20 years behind. I mean, I knew back in 2001, 9/11 was an inside job, man. 9/11 was perpetrated by our own government. Obviously, you can't have two airplanes turn 3 buildings into dust. It's just not possible, man. So I'm glad the whole vaccination thing, the forcing of people being vaccinated is waking people up to the criminality of our government. And I think it's time to realize we don't really need government anymore. We need politicians that realize their only job should be to secure the border, secure our freedoms, and make sure we have a good standing army. But people got to wake up. Like, you're 20 years behind knowing 9/11 was an inside job. Finally, the vaccination thing, the jab is waking people up. But now, kind of got to speed up the thought process of we don't need these crooked politicians telling us how to live our lives. I mean, Trump was such a great president because he knew he had to leave us alone as much as possible. I mean, we get all these Democrat politicians telling us they're gonna give us free stuff. Vote for me, I'll give you all this. What we need to realize is government should be so limited that we don't even realize it's there.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need government to tell us what shirts to wear in the morning, how to put on our shoes in the morning. I mean, people think, oh, if you don't have government, you have total anarchy, Molotov cocktails in the streets. It's just not true. People will be, especially in armed society, you know that. Armed society is a polite society. People are humane. People are good. But, I mean, I guess my point is, man, that most of the world's problems nowadays is caused by the government. Either recent laws put in place, or laws a long time ago, or policies put into place a long time ago. This is why we're in the situation we are now, because we got these, I guess, politicians we don't really need. And I just wanted to say that, man, it's time for people to realize you don't need government. And I think we could all get along without the government. People might say, well, you'd have total chaos if you don't. It's not true. You can live without government. So, we pay taxes so we have a civilized society, or we pay taxes so we can have roads. That's all bull crap, because private companies would come in and do the service for you. We don't need to be robbed from our paychecks for crooked people to do what they want with our money. We can have thousands of private companies bidding for our money to take care of services like trash, roads, and whatnot. So just wanted to get your opinion on that, and thanks for all you do, man.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah, so basically you got like, you want to have like anarchy. But see, the one thing he didn't mention was like national security. And also, you don't have any way to keep these companies in check. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have federal regulations. Like, there's room for government. The problem with government is that it's become too much. It's become too much into our everyday lives. It's encroached into our personal lives way too much. But you do need to have government in the background to regulate a lot of things. And because if you had just unfettered regulation, like if you had unfettered just access to whatever, you gotta have government, but just small government, like you said, in the background, really don't know what's there. There's a lot of things that government does that you don't really see every day, and that's the way it should be. Okay, that, like right now in Atlanta, they're having this really big thing with the interstate, the 285 perimeter and all that, 400 and everything. Okay, now how are we going to get this thing organized? How are we going to do the road closures? How are we going to have everything go with the traffic? And how are we going to make this thing work? How are we going to pay for it? Okay, those kind of things make sense to have government for. Also, national security. Okay, we got North Korea. Excuse me. They threaten us with weapons. We got the whole Ukraine thing going on. Are we going to get involved with that? Are we not going to get involved with that? There's a lot of different things going on. We have the southern border crisis happening right now. Fentanyl pouring into the country. Should that be on the back of Texas, or should it be a federal government thing? Should the federal government be able to assist Texas and Arizona and New Mexico with what's going on? Okay. How about the trash coming from California, from China to California? There's a lot of different things the government does that we don't see. And we need to be able to have that taken care of. But as far as getting in the business of what you can and can't say on social media, regulating certain websites that have tabloids, like some of the more petty things we shouldn't be involved with. And like I said, you got to be able to regulate these companies that go in and do whatever. A lot of companies are not very they're not very altruistic, and they do whatever they can to maximize profits. Not all companies, but a lot of them will do that. You know, they got a monopoly on the situation and they don't really care about you, they'll do that. But let's keep on going here. I'm not a fan of anarchy. We need to have small government, not no government. 614 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, hang on. Let me turn you down. Hold on.
All righty.
All right, man. First time calling in. I'm glad I got through. So anyways, I had to step away for a minute, so I'd kind of missed part of your show there, but I came back just at the end where you were showing the our dude with the axe at the Mickey D's getting arrested again. My understanding on it was he was a catch and release again, once again. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So it's going to kind of sound like a conspiracy theory a bit, but I'm going to kind of go there. Do you think it's possible that they're kind of setting him up to use him as a pawn to kind of be the next George Floyd type, where they're going to, obviously the guy is volatile. Obviously he's not 100% in his head. So maybe they're trying to, he's going to end up doing something to the point to where the police might have to, shoot him or something. And then next thing you know, it's going to be Summer of Love all over again.
No, I don't think so. I think the George Floyd type thing is more spontaneous. It's like, okay, you don't know who he is, random guy, and then he's dead, and then they want to make a big thing out of it. I don't think they're going to have a guy that's groomed to be like a martyr. I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Yeah, it was just something that just crossed my mind. I thought about that, and I was just like, I kind of wonder on that. The other thing I kind of want to bring up, I don't know if you heard about down in, I think it was Mississippi, the preschool teacher with the ugly Halloween mask going in from class to class to class, scaring the kids and getting in their faces and yelling at the kids and targeting the kids that they said were the bad kids and all of that. Did you hear about that?
I think I saw that, but I had no idea what was going on. So is that what it was? Like they were targeting bad kids and by screaming at them with the mask on?
Yeah, that's what, the ones that the teachers were saying were bad kids, and going in there and screaming at them and scaring them. I mean, these are like little kids. They're preschoolers. They're babies. Traumatizing these little kids. I mean, you hear one of the kids crying for their mama, and they're trying to run and trying to hide, and the kids. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't funny, not to the kids, anyways. But apparently, from what I'm understanding, this has been an ongoing thing that these teachers have been doing this. And one of the teachers who had spoken out and said, hey, this is wrong, you can't do this, kind of, got kind of pushed to the side a little bit, kind of got told, keep your mouth shut or else type of thing. So this teacher, how it got on video was the teacher that was being outspoken about it, recorded it, and sent the recording to the parents. So, yeah. So that's how it all came out, that it, got put out on the inner zones and everything. But, yeah, I kind of wondered if you'd had heard about that, because I hadn't heard you talk on it. So
yeah, I think I saw that, but I didn't know all the details. So I may do a video on it to dig a little bit deeper. That's pretty crazy. Yeah,
cool. Yeah, I kind of like to know what happens with these people, because it's like I said, they're just babies. They don't. You can't do that, and it's another point and issue. This is why parents. You need to be involved. You need to know what's going on in your kids' schools.
That's right.
So that's all I have for you tonight. Thank you so much. You have a good night.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, I remember seeing that clip. That was really crazy. I'm gonna see if I can find it and see if I can save it so I can come back to it later. Yeah. Let's do that. So the lady got fired. Yeah, that was nuts. School can be kind of a rough place for teachers. I mean, I'm not trying to defend the lady right now, because I don't know all the details of what's going on. Just from what I heard, it didn't sound too good. But I'm speaking about school in general. It could be a bad place. I told the story before, but I'll go back to it again. There's a lot of bad kids in school. When I was in Portsmouth, Virginia, I went to a school that's gone now. I won't say what it was, but it's gone now. And when I was in 7th grade, a 6th grader had put a combination lock on his knuckle. So you know what a combination lock is. You could put the fat part of the lock. You could put that part of the lock right in your hand. And then the hoop of the lock, you could put it over your knuckle. So a 6th grader, the boy probably was about 5 foot tall. I'm a kid. He punched a teacher in the face and broke his nose. And then the guy came to school with a splint, like a white splint on it. I'll never forget it. Random, just 40-something-year-old white dude, pocket protector, just normie, right? 5'8" white dude with a splint right there on his nose. Because a 6th grader broke his nose. Now imagine being in that kind of environment. You see that kind of stuff every day. And then the school is dilapidated. You got flying roaches. You got all kind of stuff going on. It was a mess. The AC won't even working. Nah, was it the AC? Yeah, the AC won't working. It's hot. We're on the 3rd floor. Windows open. We got birds coming in. It was a mess, man. It was like almost like the penitentiary a little bit. So when they say it's school to prison pipeline, I don't think that's really a thing necessarily as far as trying to get you groomed for it. But a lot of the conditions are similar. You see what I'm saying? And you got to ask yourself, whose fault is that? Is it the fault of the so-called white man, or is it the fault of those who live in that particular area? And at a certain point, people just got to tighten up their own personal lives to give their children a better opportunity. And I think maybe some kids shouldn't even go to school. If you're having a hard time behaving and you're not really, and you're not, 2 + 2 is a challenge for you at age 14, I mean, just go ahead and drop out, really. Go ahead and drop out and start to work, do something with your hands, or go to a vocational program. There's no purpose in having these kids who cannot stay still, who cannot behave properly in class, not getting any kind of education. And a lot of the times the kids' behavior comes down to the parents not teaching them properly at home. So you have bad teachers, of course, but you also have bad students and bad parents. And when you have bad, you get all bad all the way around. And the kid is just pretty much have no hope. So yeah, it's a mess. All right. But I'm going to go ahead and keep on rocking. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Let me go to 470 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony. Hey, it's Greg from Wild and Wacky Live. How you doing, sir?
It's all good, man. How about yourself?
Pretty good. I've gotten shot today, so it's a good day.
There you go.
Yeah, wow. We have a lot of ground to cover. John Fetterman, yeah, that guy is a communist. He scares the hell out of me. That guy is not fit for office, not just because of his politics, but also because of his health problems. So I agree with you there. Also, have you noticed that he has about a 2-inch bump on the back of his neck?
Yes, I have seen that. And he's always wearing some kind of hoodie or something to try and cover it. But it's like, sir, I can see it. You're not doing a very good job covering that.
Yeah, it's like some kind of cyst or something. And one of the people in your comment section made a remark about him last week, calling him Fetterneck. So it made me think, it's like, I wonder what's going on with him. So I looked him up, typed in, Fetterneck, and in the internet, it came up with he had this like cyst in the back of his neck, and Tucker Carlson pointed this out. So, yeah, get this guy out of here. He's crazy.
Yeah, he's got to go.
He wants to get some guy out of prison that was guilty of stabbing somebody to death. He's just sick all around. There's no two ways about it. Anyway, as far as Tulsi Gabbard is concerned, yeah, it's good that she finally ditched the Democrat Party, the largest party of the largest hate group in America. But still, I don't think that she's conservative. I completely agree with you. She's a stubborn Democrat at heart, and I don't know why she won't change, because the Democrat Party is nothing but a failed ideology, and it's failed for decades and decades, and it's not going to change. As we've seen since 2016, it's only getting worse.
That's right. Absolutely.
So, yeah, the crime here in Atlanta is getting worse. Speaking of worse, I work for a retail store. I'm not going to say where it is because I don't want any assassination attempts on my life, but also to protect my privacy. But seriously, though, about 3.5 months ago, maybe 4 months ago at the most, we had two guys fighting in the parking lot because one guy pulled a pistol on the other guy, and the other guy's like trying to get him down on the ground. They were like going back and forth trying to get the pistol away from the guy that pulled it on him.
That's crazy.
And the guards inside the store had their guns drawn. I mean, they pulled out of their holsters. So yeah, it's getting worse. And we added a Atlanta police officer, back in I think it was about mid-June or so.
Yeah, I mean the crime, like especially like in the city, like inside the perimeter, especially is out of control. I mean, and it wasn't like that when I was younger. I would go to Atlanta a lot when I was younger, because my uncle lived in Marietta, so I would go down to Marietta and then go into the city. And since then, the crime has just jumped up exponentially. It's really kind of crazy. And the whole defund the police movement tried to happen, but it's like, how are you going to defund the police when you have such a large amount of just random things that are going on in the city at all times, and so many people, so much traffic? It's just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, there was one guy that was shot back in, I think it was around June 8th of last year, 2021, on West Wesley, around the corner from right off Peachtree Road, in the heart of Buckhead, about 8:30 in the morning, jogging. and I think it was gang-related activities, so some kind of gang initiation or whatever. I don't know.
Wow.
But I would like to backtrack a little bit. You were talking about last week how Kanye West and Candace Owens were wearing the shirts and White Lives Matter in the Paris fashion show. I forgot to tell you that there was a woman that was killed back at 3 a.m. on July 5th of 2021. Just last year, 24-year-old mother was shot in front of her 3-year-old boy because she said all lives matter. She ran into her and her husband were out walking. It should have been in the park at 3 a.m. anyway, but they were. And she got shot by a black guy just because she said all lives matter.
Crazy.
They ran into like several guys. Her husband pulled out his gun, and the other guys pulled out their gun, and then they just walked away. And then I think 15, maybe 20 minutes later, she was walking under a bridge. The guy circled around, shot her from a bridge. This is in Indianapolis, and her name was Jessica Dottie Whitaker. And is anybody say her name? No, she's just another dead white random white person that got murdered just because she said all lives matter.
That's right.
It's for freedom of speech.
Exactly.
So if you're white, you have to be careful about saying all lives matter, because if you do, you're taking your life in your own hands, because non-white people aren't going to want to hear that. Maybe even some white people will shoot you for saying it. You never know these days. Things are so crazy.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's all I want to say. Thank you very much for taking my call. Appreciate your time, and you take care, man.
Thank you for your call, man. I definitely appreciate you.
Thanks. See you later. Bye.
Great call. Yeah, Buckhead, Atlanta, Buckhead, like that's like a nice area of Atlanta. A lot of high-end shops. You got Phipps Plaza. You got Lenox. You got a lot of different retail locations. A lot of nice restaurants right there. Just really, really, really nice area. But it's becoming just kind of ghetto. It's becoming kind of ghetto, and it's crazy. When I go to ATL, I go outside the perimeter. Inside the perimeter, Buckhead, stuff like that, you're gambling. You're taking the risk. I mean, I like the area. I like Buckhead, but, hey, man, one day it could be totally beautiful. You could go outside, walk your dog, but the next day it might not be. Atlanta's like that, randomly violent for no reason at all. 304 on the line, I'm speaking to.
Hey, it's Jeff from West Virginia, ABL. How you doing?
It's all good, man. How about yourself?
I got to admit, I'm a little upset with you.
What happened?
Well, last week on your final call, you ended with Ivan, and man, the only time I tried to call in last week was after that. But you forgot the line, ABL.
What was the line?
Sir, please, if you're going to speak out of your butt, please sit on your phone so the audience can understand you. And everybody was just, but I'm kind of flying blind tonight here. We'll see if we can entertain some people. Internet was kind of off when I picked up where the calls started. So what do you think about this Pennsylvania Senate race, man? Like, I know you said that you didn't think Oz was a good candidate, but I don't think he's a good candidate at all. It's like he's like a snake oil salesman from 1875. And then on the other side, you have this, what's his name, Feta Cheese or whatever. This guy looks like the illegitimate child of Herman Munster and Nancy Pelosi. They say he had a stroke. It wasn't a stroke of genius. I can promise you that. I don't know what to tell the people of Pennsylvania. Maybe everybody write in John Smith and hope he's a solid dude.
Oh man, yeah, they might need to do that, because what they got right now is not really good.
There you go. Did you hear? Now this is top secret information. Did you hear that they're coming out with a new main battle tank, the U.S. Army?
No, I didn't hear about that.
It's supposed to be 2 times bigger than our main battle tank, the Abrams battle tank. This thing's supposed to be tough. It's not even going to need to be camouflaged. They're just going to paint it in the LGBTQ colors. supposed to be able to shatter glass ceilings. It does complain about Georgia a lot. They're calling it the Stacey Abrams tank.
Yeah, that'd be a big one. That'd be a real big one right there.
So is that pretty good without hearing your first couple hours of the show? Did I get a few laughs, everybody?
You sure did. The chat loves it.
Hey, listen, I know the last couple of times I haven't called in. Yeah, and I really appreciate. I just want everybody to know this. I appreciate it when I see you asking about me in those comments. Let me tell you something. For the last 2 years, I have bought books that $100 books to study on coins. There's not a day that I haven't tried to get on the internet, read books, went to coin collectors, and tried to study this trade. And 2 weeks ago, a guy actually let me start sitting in at his table at the coin shows. I'm probably going to be in Mineral Wells at the end of this month. And I've had work from this guy that he's had me bringing home. And that's where I've been. And I appreciate everybody asking about me on there, but that's where I've been. It's been tough. I've studied hard for this, and I'm trying to make something of myself, and I appreciate every one of you.
Thank you for calling in, man. We definitely appreciate you as well. Absolutely.
All right. Hey, y'all have a good one. We'll keep it rolling.
All right, now.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, man. Yeah. Shout out to my man from West Virginia. Yeah. Feta cheese was hilarious. Feta cheese. Shout out to feta cheese, though. Feta cheese is off the chain. Like, some of that, get some of that Greek food, put the feta cheese in it. Yeah, that right there, that does it. 773, you don't learn who I'm speaking to.
ABL, it's your retired Chicago police officer friend. I'm glad I got in.
All righty, man. What's happening?
Listen, I'll keep it short and sweet, ABL. I saw a program the other day where, the reporter was walking around to get opinions from the man on the street. It was a older, middle-aged white couple, and they asked them how they thought Biden was doing. They thought Biden was doing just great. Then when the reporter asked about, the Ukraine, asked about Afghanistan, asked about inflation, asked about his son's involvement, in his laptop and all these other countries getting kickbacks from, asked about the gas prices, every single point they said, not his fault, not his fault, not his fault, and blamed it on Trump. How do you deal with people like that? Because that's not an isolated incident. A lot of these people see all the bad that Biden has, caused as originating from Trump. Well, if Trump didn't leave the economy the way, it was when Biden got it. The economy was perfect at that time, but they still blame Trump's policies and everything else. Anyway, ABL, great show as usual, and I'll let you get back to it, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right. Yeah, a lot of people, it's that brainwashing is what I'm talking about. People, they get brainwashed. They don't really think logically. It's pretty crazy to see, but at the same time, not surprising at all. 773 on line, I'm speaking to.
ABL. ABL, have you heard about the hundreds of Muslim parents along Christians protesting in Dearborn, Michigan over books that are grooming their kids, and the school board shut it down because of a fire hazard?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that video.
Yeah. Well, for starters, it is pretty great to see there's not just Christians out there that are livid about this whole grooming operation, but also Muslims. So the fake news media cannot spin this and call the parents terrorists, even though there have been attempting to do that because of why Christians.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it's good that it's a bipartisan thing, if you will, between religions. It's not just, one side.
But if I was the parents there, I would, as well as with Loudoun County and other school boards that have been pushing this and shutting down parents, especially in opposition to the Florida bill, I would hope that there's some massive lawsuits coming to the school boards and the teachers union, because let's face it, all those school boards and teachers union need to be shut down completely, especially after all the nonsense they've been doing during the lockdowns.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And anyway, ABL, in your neck of the woods in Tennessee, have you been following on this Matt Walsh type of stories plus scandal about certain hospitals throughout the country, specifically Vanderbilt Hospital, for example, has been pushing for the mutilation of kids, and predominantly silencing parents.
Yes, I saw the Vanderbilt story, and I saw that they discovered it and then they ended it.
Yeah, they basically shut it down.
Yeah.
I only asked because I had not heard you speak about it, and I was kind of wondering, Ernie, if you ever had kids start protesting against this.
Well, it's not really a story there because it's like right when they came out, they said that they ended it. So it's like that kind of thing is happening all over the country as far as like the doctors trying to perform these surgeries on children that they shouldn't be performing. It's all kind of under the umbrella of the drag queen story time, the trans children, the puberty blockers, hormone blockers. I spoke on that 2 years ago on Jubilee, because when I was on Jubilee 2 years ago, they were talking about Dwayne Wade's boy, who's not on that Zaya. And I'm like, look, my main thing the whole time, and I've said it repeatedly on this channel, different channels, if you have adults that want to be LGBTQ or they want to be transgender, that's on them, but leave the kids out of it. That's been my whole stance the entire time. And I think that it's becoming more and more popular, and we got to just stand up and say, this is not going to be able to fly, and stamp it out wherever we see it.
Yeah. Yeah, because as far as I see it, a lot more conservatives need to kind of do something pretty drastic about this, because Lurie's Children's Hospital here in Chicago is doing it, and nobody on the local media is talking about it. And as a matter of fact, this is kind of similar to what Google and other big tech companies is. If you kind of say something that's against the establishment media's narrative, they shut you down. And I've been trying to tell my father for years about the corruption within the media as well as with certain hospitals, especially during lockdowns. But I do want to ask this critical question that requires a yes or no question to you and everybody else. If given what that Neverland and Florida Surgeon General said about the Pfizer shot and how that, do you, in your opinion, yes or no, do you consider the doctors just as guilty as the pharmaceutical companies for pushing this onto the masses and completely ignoring any major side effects, especially among young, healthy men? Because we've seen a whole bunch of healthy athletes and even soldiers now drop dead.
Well, I don't think so. No, because I can't say that every doctor has the same information, because a lot of times the doctors, they're being told certain things that aren't true as well. They're being lied to the same as we're being lied to. So if the companies, big pharma, say, hey, this is going to be safe, patients are going to need it, here's a study that we said it's going to be safe, if they say all these things to the doctor and they're being lied to and they recommend it to their patients, how can that be their fault necessarily? Now, you're going to have some doctors that look into it a little bit more, and then they want to have alternative remedies. Like, here's a prime example of what I'm talking about. You have doctors that go against what big pharma and the federal government are saying, like, what was the name? The frontline doctors. I did an article about them.
Yeah.
And I think one of them went to hold on, let me finish. I think one actually went to jail. She went to jail over the whole thing. Another one, Stella Main lost a license, I think. So it's like you're being told certain things, you're being lied to, and then the government's getting on you if you try to say something else, and they're removing you from the whole practice. So it's like, what do you do? I think it's more about the federal government and big pharma working together to push the lie. I think doctors and whatnot are just part of being victimized the same as we are.
Okay, I can understand that, but I kind of disagree with you at the same time, because a lot of these doctors get their orders from the higher ups, as well as they get the same money from the pharmaceutical companies to kind of prescribe this. Same thing that they did throughout the pandemic. And in my case, despite it being, in quotation marks, supposedly over with, my doctors have told my family, particularly my brother and I, because of our low immune systems, that we still have to, quote, wear the mask despite the opposition. So I actually don't really see any of the doctors pretty much innocent, especially if they're just taking orders from the higher ups in the first place. And more importantly, Pfizer CEO, in my opinion, should, because he's gotten the booster shot and has gotten the virus again, then I actually really don't really feel any type of empathy for him. And I really think that it's perfect karma for him to kind of suffer. And if the CEO dies from it, it's poetic justice, in my opinion, because he's kind of murdered a whole bunch of people and doesn't care.
Well, thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Sorry.
All right. Well, yeah, so basically to wrap that up, because we're right at the end of the show, we're at 11 o'clock, the time flies on. I think the federal government has so much power over that. It's just like blaming the flight attendants for enforcing the mask mandate when it was a federal regulation. What are they going to do? The federal government says you must wear the mask. So what can they do to overcome the federal government? They're in the same boat as you are. So when the mask mandate was over with, they were celebrating right along with the passengers because they were forced into it when they didn't want to do it. Same thing with the doctors. Okay, you don't want to give out the vaccine. Well, how about losing your license? How about going to jail, Dr. Gold, Stella Emanuel, losing your license? How about that? So you want to go against what they're saying, but if you go against it, you're not going to be there anyway to be able to help people that are in need of virus treatment. So I don't blame the doctors or the flight attendants or anybody that was enforcing these rules. I blame the federal government for making us do it. Okay. And if you didn't do it, you're losing your whole livelihood. So it's kind of lose-lose. You don't enforce it, you're losing everything. You do enforce it, you could lose everything. You know, the government needs to kind of get out the way. This is what I'm talking about when I said earlier, the government shouldn't be so much into our personal lives. The government shouldn't be enforcing medical treatment by mandate. That shouldn't be what's going on at all. But that'll be a wrap for me. You guys are fantastic. Couldn't do it without you. If you like what you have heard tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Thank you to the mods, keeping the trolls in check. I appreciate y'all. Thank you to everybody that's been watching, super chatting, sharing, liking, whatever you're doing. I appreciate you. This is a podcast as well. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platforms, whether it be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description box, or go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. I got super chats on deck right here I'll get to, and then I will go ahead and close the show. Let me see. Thank you to Santo Bartes, who says AJ told to pay $1 billion. I already read that one. Thank you to though that was Media Network, who says still showing you love, bro, and keep doing God's work and catch my live tonight after you finish. And also tell everyone to check out Candace Owens' Greatest Lie Ever Told. Thank you to Mallory Foss, who says, I thought Bo Biden died of brain cancer. Joe just said he lost life in Iraq. Where are the fact checkers? You know what they're going to say about that? They're going to say that he got cancer from his time in Iraq, from the burn pits and stuff like that. So then they're going to say he's right. You know, the media, they jump through hoops to be able to defend their people when they're on their side. But if you say anything wrong, you could say today's a beautiful day. They were like, well, actually, today's not so beautiful because it was raining for about 45 minutes. Stupid stuff like that. That's how they do. I hate the media so much. This is why alternative media is coming up. And that's why Alex Jones had that $1 billion judgment against him, because he's alternative media, and they don't want to have alternative media rise above their state-controlled media. Mainstream media is state-run media. It's like North Korea over here. It's ridiculous. It's nuts. And it's so obvious, it's not even really funny. Thank you to Dent Machine Company who says, did you see the video of KC Miller? The transitioning young lady, 21, destroyed by HRT. Looks like a 40-year-old man. Check it. I saw that. Yeah, I did see that. Thank you to Dent Machine Company who says, shout out to Quado's little brother on Fetter Woman's Neck. Shout out to Fetter Neck. Fetter Neck was hilarious. But that will be a wrap for me. You guys have been great. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.